All right, guys, we're back at it again on the 88th episode of the Third Eye Truth There podcast. This is May 19th, 2025, downtown St. Joseph. I can say it.
Yeah, that's how you fucked up.
Downtown St. Joseph, Michigan. I had a tongue twister right there for a minute. I apologize. Thank you guys for joining us again. We are ready to do another episode. Joe, how you doing?
Good. I'm really good. Thank you.
I forgot to introduce ourselves. We already know who each other are. But we do have a special guest tonight, Joey DiMaggio. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm honored, humbled, and honored to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this one.
He was.
Joe, you've been giving this man plenty of praise, and
I have. Actually, he's a long lost family friend.
Yeah, we go way back, to
Yeah.
Jack and Jill, Cool Days.
My
Yeah.
grandparents'
Love it.
pool and everything, the whole family.
Yeah.
It was even them, the Swansons.
Swansons
and
Yeah.
yeah.
The Sullivan.
All right.
Oh yeah, I still see them all.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, we go to Sean and Jan's every Christmas Eve.
Are
And,
you still?
yeah, see
That's
Scott and all
awesome.
them, and yeah,
Yeah, I still
deal.
do. Yeah, the whole family.
I see Brooke. My mom sees Kathy probably every week or so.
Yeah.
A couple
Yep.
times. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
It's really fun. It's really funny how we all get along and still and everything.
so Joe has been highly praising you since.
Yeah.
Oh well,
we've I've talked to him personally.
right
about
back
this,
at you, bro.
Thank you.
and it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's my first time meeting you, so I have I don't really have any expectations of what's going to happen tonight. I'm just going to go with the flow.
I never had expectations.
Well,
You know, show.
I'm kind of like a circus person. If you tell me to sing, I'll sing. If you say dance, I'll dance. If you tell me to do the splits, I'll do the splits. If you tell me I'll do it. I entertain on command.
Nobody hold you to that.
Yeah.
Doing the split.
Dude, actually, if you could, I'll let you bring your dogs with you because those are those.
Oh, the
looking
biggest
dogs.
douchebags in the history of the world.
Your dogs
Oh my
They're
god.
awesome dogs, though.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Well, so this is going to shock you, Joe. I managed to raise two of the most spoiled, rotten, manipulative, ungrateful douchebag dogs in the history of the universe. Onyx and Sterling. So
Yes.
that's Onyx and that's Sterling. They're
What is
Boston Terriers.
Okay.
They're both rescue rehomes, but I had two Bostons before them, Prince and Manny, who since passed away. Long story about how I got them. Sterling's a blue Boston, and he definitely has special needs. So I hosted the Michiana Humane Society fundraising event yesterday, and there was this vet there she's pretty in genealogy of vets. She does a lot of, and I said to her, hey, I'm gonna ask you a question, and please don't take this the wrong way. And because I have a niece who has cerebral palsy, I have a special needs. I volunteer. I'm like, can dogs have Down syndrome? And she goes, absolutely. And I said,
really? I did not know that.
I said, I think my dog has Down syndrome. And she goes, why do you say that? And I described everything. He gets so excited. And you know how kids, they're just they're the coolest kids, and they get so excited, and they just some of those characteristics. And I described it. And she goes, no, it's very, very possible.
Wow, I did not know that.
I knew they could get stuff like that.
Really?
It's something similar where they can't control their emotions. They can't control their body temperature. He can't control his body temperature.
If a dog can get cancer, a dog can get stuff like that.
Yeah,
You would think they could get everything else. I'd never seen it, but the cancer
the
thing.
first time I ever heard that.
And the body temperature thing was really what she was like, oh yeah. Because a lot of times when people have chromosomal issues, that's one of the things is they can't regulate, they can't, and he just can't. Like if we're on the boat, I try to get him to, or if he walks a block in the heat. Onyx, the other one, is fine, and my other dog is So, those are my boys. They're sweet dogs.
Flip flops on.
No, I don't have my flip-flops on. I know it sucks.
Yeah, they mean well. They're sweet boys, and I had It's a crazy story how I got them. I had my two Bostons, and one of my Bostons was 14 and passed away.
Yeah.
So my other Boston, Prince, was just devastated, and they were about the same age. And Manny, who passed away, I got from the Midwest Boston Terrier Rescue. Prince was a rehome he was a runt of a litter. And Prince was just devastated. And I literally thought he was going to die of a broken heart. Like he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't do anything. He didn't want to go for a walk. He didn't want to. He didn't. And I was like, oh my God, this dog's going to die of a broken heart. So I called the Midwest Boston Terrier Rescue where I'd gotten Manny. And I said, niece, she's actually up in St. Joe. And I said, hey, So I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not, but I had these 2 dogs lived together for almost 14 years, and one of them just passed away. And Manny, who she and I had Prince, and she goes, "Well, it's never too soon. It's up to you." And I said, she goes, "Well, why don't you do this? Bring Prince by the house. I've got some pups, that could use a good home.
Yeah.
And if they get along, and one of them, she goes, I've got a guy I think he might get along with this little dog named Wyatt." She goes, "Wyatt's deaf, but he's really sweet." So I brought Prince over to the house, and Wyatt came up, and Prince wasn't impressed, and all the other dogs and Prince was just kind of like laying there. And then I saw this little teeny runty thing running around in the backyard. I go, "Who's that?" And she goes, this is a great story. She goes, "His name's Homie." And I said, "Homie? Why do you call him Homie?" She goes, "Because he's homely. Look at him. He's the ugliest little dog." He's a blue Boston Terrier. Blue Bostons are incredibly rare, but you know how they get the dogs those colors. They inbreed them. They inbreed the shit out of them, right?
Yeah.
So he came out, his eyes were googly, his tail was like crooked, his back gate was all wobbly, and the breeder was like, "No." So he called Denise from Boston Terrier Rescue. He was like, "Do you want this dog? Otherwise, I'm just going to get rid of it." That's what they do. I mean, breeders are disgusting. I mean, it's terrible.
Right.
So she goes, "Well, let's bring him in." So she brought him in, and Prince, back to life. Just like,
Really?
yeah, just brought this little dog, brought him back to life. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." And I said, "Well," she goes, "Take him." I go, "Well, do you want some paper?" She goes, "You've already adopted from us before." She goes, "Yes, we'll do all that later." And he, blah, blah, blah. So I took this little dog home, and I called him Sterling because he's like Sterling gray, like he's like a blue gray. And then, so Sterling was 14 weeks when I got him. Prince was 13. So then Prince passes away.
Oh.
Which was devastating because we were down in Disney. It was toward the end of COVID, and my mom was. It was a long story too.
I know you feel on that one.
So it was devastating. I at least got to see him go on FaceTime, which is more than some people, their parents and family were.
Yeah, I did the same thing when my dog passed away. And I was in Florida.
Oh,
Not Florida. I mean, you're in Florida. I was in Hawaii.
Oh, jeez.
I was in the most happiest place in the world.
Yeah,
most beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I had my last 2 days. Me and my daughter were down there for a soccer tournament, and I had to tell her that we had to put our dog down. You want to say goodbye now? I said, "Why can't we just wait?" I said, he's suffering. We don't want him to suffer. So yeah, I understand why.
Yeah.
You were in Florida. I was in Hawaii. I had to put our dogs down.
And so when Manny it was time to go. My mother, actually, Marilyn, she's lovely. I love my mother. She actually showed up at my house one day. I got home from work. I'm like, "What is Marilyn doing here?" And she goes, "It's time." She sat me down on the couch. She had an intervention. She's like, "It's time for Manny to go." He was blind. He was deaf. He could barely walk. I'm like, "No, he's got a diaper, and I'll pick him up and take him outside." She's like, "Dude, it's time for the dog." So that was devastating. And Prince was getting to that point, and I didn't want to leave. I was like, "Mom, I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay." And she's like, "You've been planning this trip forever. You guys, go down." And right before I left, he kind of perked up a little bit. I'm like, "Oh, he's going to be fine." She said, like an hour after I left, he just collapsed. And they say dogs do that. They don't, and they don't want you to see them suffer. That's why they'll like. So I felt
hide
terrible.
somewhere and die.
So then I got back from Disney, and Sterling now was devastated. Wouldn't eat. Didn't want to go for, just like Prince was when Manny died. So I was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck am I gonna do?"
I have to buy another dog.
So I called. I'm like, "Really?" So I called Denise from Midwest Boston Terrier. She's like, "Joey, it's COVID. Everybody adopted all the dogs. I don't have any." And I was like, "All right." And literally Sterling would just lay. I mean, this dog is like super energetic. So my dog walker, this girl Tara, who was super sweet, she actually sent me a message, and she goes, "Hey, I was on Craigslist." I didn't know that was still a thing, but Craigslist is still a thing. It was 5-6 years ago. And she goes, "And I saw somebody's rehoming a Boston Terrier, blah, blah, blah." So she gave me the number. So I called this woman. Long story short, she goes, "You have a fenced in backyard, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she goes, I said, "Well, you know what? Let me tell you what. Next time you're in the area," she lives in Mishawaka. I said, "Next time you're in the area, just bring the dog by, and we'll see if him and Sterling get along." She's like, "Can I come over tonight?" And I was like, "Okay." So she shows up, this woman, and it's still kind of toward the end of COVID, and they had masks on and everything, very nice looking family.
Right.
They had a nice car. So it was her and her little daughter, like 5-year-old girl, and her mother, the grandma. The grandmother walks into my house, and she goes, "Oh, you have a beautiful home. Please tell me you have a fenced-in backyard." And I was like, "Why do they keep asking me this?" Right? So they bring in this dog, Onyx. That was his name at the time. This little black and white Boston. He was a puppy still, and he goes, and Sterling just right back to life, just like Sterling did to Prince. So I was like, they started playing. I'd never seen Sterling so happy because Prince was older. So I was like, all right.
Two
So
hyper dogs now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now this girl, Emily, goes back to her car. She comes back and she's got like food. Here's his food. Here's his dishes. I was like,
We're
oh,
trying to get rid of them.
I guess I'm getting a dog.
They're passive. Yes.
Yeah. And then so then she noticed there was a cage because Sterling was crate trained and Prince was and Manny. And she goes, are you planning on putting him in a crate? I'm like, well, he's crate trained, right? And she goes, no.
Oh.
And I was like, now it's starting to click. Now, why are they rehoming? Because they had him during COVID where no one was working. So they were fine, but then they all had to go back to work. And the mom had another dog that was older. And the girl had a little, and she's the mother was like, I'm not doing this. Right. So I guess they just put the dog out in the backyard. So that's how I ended up with two of the most special dogs.
But the funny thing is, his special dogs, like I said, I do, since I've known him for a while, and I do follow him on Facebook and everything else. And he plays the piano.
Oh, yeah.
He plays the piano and sings and stuff like that. But he plays the piano and the dog jumps up.
Yeah, Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling jumps up and he plays the piano with the dog between his legs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The second I there's videos of the second I start playing, I hear his nails. He'll jump up and then he jumps up and clong, clunk, clunk, clunk. He starts like Chopin, like banging on the keyboard.
Yeah.
That's part of his like spasticness, you know? And I'm like,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. And then
my dog. Yeah. I wish my dog could do that.
Yeah.
My dog is a black lab pit mix. He's a big giant baby. He would probably run from the piano. So
you play piano?
No, not anymore.
You did, but you did.
Chopsticks.
Chops.
Oh, you have a special song for it.
I can do chopsticks. Yeah.
All right.
You always learn something new when I bring people on.
Yeah.
Sterling does, but there's times where like I'm doing some performance stuff in the summer at a Valpo music festival. So I'm trying to or when I'm like practicing choir music for church, I'll sit down and try to and I can't. I'm like, Sterling, I actually need to play the piano right now.
It's fun because it's funny. It does. That dog all of a sudden sees it, jumps up.
Yeah, bring him to life.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. And the other one, it gets mad because the other one doesn't jump up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Onyx
and
then he'll come and then he'll try to get on the bench and Sterling won't make room for him. And
Oh, it's my spotlight.
Yeah.
I'm the piano for a dog. So with everything else that goes on in your life besides your family and your dog and all that, you're part of the choir and the church and all that. You come up here still for that? Because I see you.
No, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's?
St. Mary's in New Buffalo.
New Buffalo?
So I used to go to church with Dad, as much as I could at St. Bernard's here. That's, of course, but, and I stopped going for years. And I got to tell you, I don't.
Him too.
Yeah.
I kind of figured that.
People joke, they're like, oh, you're bad. I go, I'm literally a choir boy. Like, I'm literally a but and I got away from the church for a while, and this is a kind of a deep topic that I'll bring up, and it wasn't until the Pope when he said, and he was like, hey, we need to be inclusive of different communities and B2 community, and it really, and I don't think that people realize the impact that he had when he was like, no, I mean, and it's funny because I'm in church every Sunday, I sing in the choir, I love it, and when you actually listen to the teachings of Jesus and the Bible, it is about being inclusive and it's about welcoming people.
He is a busy man.
And I'm also a member of the Knights of Columbus. And so, and I do a lot. I'm the Commodore of the New Buffalo Yacht Club.
We keep going with the first stories.
So that was, and it was funny because I had friends that were in Knights of Columbus and they had asked me for a while ago to join. And I was like, I mean, that's a Catholic men's organization, and I thought, well, I'd be honored to be part of it. But I really was just starting to get kind of back in the church. It's important to me. My faith is important to me. And it's how I was born and raised. And, I'm not advocating that everyone be Catholic or be a certain denomination, but I think having some sort of spirituality. I also had just kind of gone through about a couple year process of like deep, like spiritual manifestation where I had this lifestyle, I had this job, I had this career, and I was like, I need to change this. And I did. And I thought, okay. And it was really like make it happen kind of thing, like visualization stuff. And so I was fascinating sort of getting back into the church, and they asked me to be part of the Knights of Columbus. And I'll never forget this. One of the guys, he was like, yeah, they really want you to be part of the Knights of Columbus. And I was like, okay. And he goes, if the Pope's okay with you, why would we not be?
Wow.
And I will never forget that. I thought, okay. I mean, and I said, that's kind of how I felt welcome back in the church. And it was a really profound moment for me. It was kind of one of those things that you don't really think about. And
That's kind of cool.
yeah, it was cool. And then the whole thing with the new pope. I mean, that was, not just being from Chicago. I mean, of course, everyone's super excited.
It's
and
the first American
ever.
Pope,
ever.
Yeah.
First
Pope.
American
So
pope.
the first controversy is he a Cubs fan or is he a Sox fan? And
Sox.
of course, he's a Sox fan,
He's a Sox fan.
we're a little upset about
Bears
that.
fan or...
He is a
right.
He is a Bears fan though.
But then it was like, okay, is he going to carry on this tradition that Pope Francis had of being welcoming and
so far
more progressive? And so far,
except Trump, he doesn't like Trump.
Man. No, well,
he even he came close to saying it, but how he's acting, he doesn't like.
Yeah, and they dug up some old tweets and things like that he had tweeted. The thing is,
the Pope's a Pope, though.
I don't say this to be judged because I don't judge Judy. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you do. Show. I don't. Yeah, I mean, baloney. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I don't listen. I live my life. I don't care what you do in your life. I don't care what you do as long as you're not harming somebody, you're not breaking. I really don't care. I don't give a fuck what you. I don't care. I have clients. They're like, oh, I'm like, I'm not judging you. I don't care. I can help you. If you ask me for help, you ask me for advice, I will 100% be there for you. But I'm not judging you. I do not care. But people that claim to be Christian and then don't follow basic Christian values, that jars me a little bit. But again, it's just, hey, and I think that people use the Bible a lot to, it's like you can cherry pick things from anything. And
a lot of people do that, cherry pick the different verses from the Bible.
They do.
And apply it to their lives on a daily basis. But do they really follow it?
Right.
It's a question.
Do you? Yeah. Right. And at the end of the day, I mean, and sort of what Pope Francis said, he said, that's between you and God. Who am I to judge you? Right. I mean, everyone comes to that spiritual and that level of them. Some people go to church, it just makes them feel good. Great.
You do a lot of stuff.
I do a lot of stuff.
I'm shocked tonight. I'm sorry to say that like this, because I'm really not sorry for saying it, but that's how I feel. I'm shocked they let you in.
So it was interesting when they asked me,
and
they asked me for multiple years
but
and
how
multiple times.
But how they said it,
and I think too,
I would take it offensively.
Well, I part of me was like, I mean, you got to understand. I lowered the median age of that group to about, it's typically older, but they're trying to recruit younger people, and they understand that they have to be more accepting and just like in general, like the world in general. It doesn't mean you have to be super progressive or super leftist. The one thing about the Knights of Columbus that is cool is they do a ton of really good charity work.
They do.
I mean, that's
one thing I love about it.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like we just did a fundraising thing and we donated an ultrasound machine to a women's health clinic that needed it. And
that was like a lot of nice.
That was like $50,000, right? So we donated from our chapter alone, from our council alone, I think like $25,000 we raised, which is cool.
It is.
We do food drives. Because and if you look again, you look at the teachings, like our Father Bosker from St. Mary's just went on sabbatical, and they go to the poorest of the poorest countries. They give them water, they give them food, they educate, their electricity. Like there's meaningful work behind it. I will tell you, I don't know if you watch on HBO the show The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
So let's just talk the elephant in the room. The other day, someone was like, "You do realize that you are Kelvin Gemstone, right?" I'm like,
"You are." On that one.
It's not lost on me. I love him too. He's such a great actor too. I'm like,
man, the wrong button. I almost had a button for that one.
It is not lost on me that we have a lot in common. But and that show, lays out just that whole stereotypical, just evangelical, evangelical megachurch, I got to tell you, St. Mary's of the Lake doesn't have a pot to piss in when it comes in money wise. They donate, they give. It is. It's a beautiful church too. Yeah. So
it is.
Yeah, it's an interesting part of my life, but it's very important to me and I love it. So
that's why I wanted to bring it up, because you are very deep in family, religion, and your own, of course, your health, but you care about your family and religion automatically, because you're a big tight-knit family. Everybody knows who your family is because of
for good or for bad, right?
Yeah, for good or for bad.
Things may be right.
Basically, they know it because of one person only. Your father and what he's done.
D.
Yep, what he's done out there in Hager. I mean,
Yeah.
he built that place nonstop.
Pretty cool. I'm super proud of my dad. I got
And
to
it's
tell
been there
you.
forever.
Yeah. And
How
that
long
new
has it been out
kayak
there?
park, I am, growing up in the DiMaggio family, being, of course, I'm from St. Joe, Michigan. It was interesting because, and it's interesting too. My grandfather's name is on the wall at Ellis Island. That's my grandfather's,
Really?
my Papa Tony. That's my dad's dad. I'll be 49 this year, but I'm not
God,
old.
you're that old? You don't look it.
I
Good for you.
know.
Good
Thanks.
for
I
you.
had a lot of work done. The only thing real in my entire body are my hair and my diamonds. Everything else is fake. True story. But and it's funny because like growing up, I'm like, you talk about immigrants and immigrant families. My grandfather's name is on the wall at Ellis Island. He came over on the boat. That's my grandfather, not my great. And that was not that long ago. And
your family lives forever.
Yeah,
Three
they
or
do.
four generations, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
Three.
Yeah.
Three generations.
And so, like when I was going to school, I had friends in St. Joe that said to me, "Hey, my grandparents remember when your grandparents opened up DiMaggio's Pizza because they moved it over from Chicago. They bought it. My Nana and Papa, they moved it in 1957, still there. And I will never forget this. A day, one of the like super white, like waspy girls from St. Joe was like, "Oh, I'll never forget. My grandparents were so excited to tell me when your grandparents opened DiMaggio's Pizza because they were so excited to have ethnic food." And I went, "Ethnic food?" They were like, "Yeah." And I thought, well, pizza and meatballs is ethnic food, but it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Which again is not that long ago. Like the first segregated school. I mean, the first person that went to a non-segregated school, then she just died, right?
Exactly.
Wasn't that in the 60s?
No, that was in the
50s.
50s.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. That's
we think about these things happening like hundreds of years ago. Oh, segregation and ethnic. No, I mean, it was not that long ago, right? And it's interesting too, because my grandparents, like my Nana, God rest her soul, was a redheaded Sicilian, and you don't mess with a redheaded Sicilian. And when I was a kid, I was one of those like, "Oh, well, that's racist and that." And one day she looked at me and she was like, "Do you have any idea?" She goes, "We spoke broken English. Her family spoke broken." She goes, "Do you know how they were treated? Like the Irish were treated, So it's not putting it across the board saying it's okay, but it's interesting to think about my grandparents feeling like they were immigrants and being not persecuted against. I'm not gonna go that far, but
I just
think about it. Just the people coming in this country, different walks, backgrounds, and all that stuff. Polish, Russian, anybody that came to this country and tried to make a new life for themselves.
Right.
That comes a lot of things.
Unless you are like American Indian, you are an immigrant. Your family were immigrants.
Exactly.
Now you could argue how they came over and the whole, and like that's a whole different ball of wax, literally. But yeah,
I don't play with wax.
No, it's good.
No,
good.
Thank you.
But I love it being. I've been to your family's restaurant once.
Yeah,
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, once.
You only been there once?
Yeah, once.
Before the fire or after the fire?
I don't know. I'm not sure when the fire happened.
Yeah, 2000.
Before that. It was before
that. Okay. Yeah.
It was when I was young.
It's kind of fancy now after the fire, isn't it? It's like almost too nice. Like I went in, I was like, "Dad, this is almost kind of too nice. Like, what's going on?"
It does look nice though.
Yeah, it does. They did a really good job. Yeah. So I went through the fire at Stray Dog. Oh, this is a funny story. Speaking of fire, so I lived
Stray Dog had the fire?
Yeah, back in 2012. The whole thing.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that was bad. So I lived in Union Pier above this place called Mario's Pizza right on Red Hour Highway. And there was a restaurant across the road called Cafe Tuscany that we were at the night of. And then that night it burned down.
Oh, really?
So I watched that. And then Stray Dog had a fire.
I watched the fire right there.
And then, yeah.
And you worked there, didn't you?
Not at Cafe Tuscany. No, but.
No, I'm at Stray Dog.
Oh, yeah.
You were at Stray Dog while
I was
before or after?
I was at Stray Dog for 20 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I came back from New York to work at Stray Dog.
Stray Dog?
Oh, dude, it's been there forever.
2001. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I moved. Because I reopened. I moved out to New York. I went to school. I went to AMDA, a Broadway Training Academy.
Yep.
Lived with my brother Scooter in Brooklyn. Then I was a singing waiter in Ellen Stardust Diner in Times Square. It was my first job. I was a singing waiter at Ellen Stardust Diner. Still there to this day.
Oh, dude.
And
those
then,
are awesome. You ever been to one of those?
Yeah,
No,
they're fun.
Where all of a sudden they sing the whole thing. They sing
Sing
to
the-
you.
Yeah.
They sing to you. Like if you went up to a table, you start singing.
Yeah. And then
Singing
they
is
get
it-
up and they do a whole like
Yep.
court little show. Yeah.
Really?
All
Yeah.
of a sudden, a certain song comes on.
Yeah.
They jump on top of the bar or a stool
Yeah.
or something and
And
start
perform.
singing and perform.
Unison, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's all Broadway kids too.
Yeah.
So like one of my scene partners at AMDA,
kinda
Brandy
sad.
Massey, was the first Black Elphaba in Wicked ever. And
Really?
yeah. Yeah. And she worked there at Ellen Stardust Diner. And like you literally you'll have people that are on Broadway one week, their show closes, and they're back singing at Ellen Stardust because you're right in Times Square. It's a great place to get discovered.
It is.
I got discovered there because of my restaurant skills. So this chick came in one day. This is a crazy story. I don't know if you heard this. This woman came in one day and she was like, "Hey, you're a really good singer." I was like, "Oh, thanks." Blah blah. And I go to AMDA and she's like, "But I also noticed you're a really good server. I said, "Well, I'm a third generation restaurateur. I grew up in the restaurant." She goes, "No, I can tell." And she hands me a business card and she says, "If you ever need a restaurant job, or if you ever don't do the performance thing, if it doesn't work out, which doesn't work out for 99% of the kids there, right? She give me a call." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I didn't think anything. Threw it on my dresser at home. Well, one day I show up to work at Ellen's and turns out they fired a bunch of us. It allegedly may have had something to do with drugs in the bathroom, Your Honor. Allegedly, Your Honor, back in allegedly. Listen, I was 22 in New Manhattan.
I was gonna say it was in the
You said
in the 90s. Okay, people were like, "Did you do drugs in New York?" I'm like,
Who didn't?
I
Maybe.
lived in the
yeah. Who did it?
So I got a business card and I called her and I said, "Hey," her name was Julie. I'll never forget this. And I said, "Hey, Julie, turns out I need a job." She's like, "Great." I got fired. Great. She goes, "Come to the New Amsterdam Theater." She ran concession stands and bars in Broadway theater. So like if you go see a show, there's the intermission or whatever.
Yeah.
You go and you get a drink and you get your little magic bars or your cookies or whatever the fuck they're selling.
Yeah, for that.
So she's like, "I need someone to help like run these bars because I don't know anything about it." She just owned this concession stand business. So I show up. It's the New Amsterdam Theater where the Lion King was. The Lion King had just opened, which was awesome. And I actually got to see part. They didn't let you watch the whole show. I got to see part of it because you couldn't get tickets for the Lion King. So
yeah, it's sold out all the time.
So she had this system where they would count plastic cups, and that's how they would do their inventory. So if you started with 30 cups and you ended with 10, you sold 20 drinks. You better have $200 for the 10. And I'm like,
that is.
So I said to her, I said, "Hey, I don't mean to tell you how to run your business or anything, but I grew up doing bar inventory with my Papa Tony. We would point count bottles. He'd take a magic mark, Sharpie, and write mark on it. Like that's how you do it. I've done it for years." And she's like, "How?" I said, "Well, you count the liquor. You don't count the cups. It's like, what a pain in the ass that is." And she's like, "Oh,
cup could break."
Yeah, correct. Right. Yeah. If somebody asked for a cup of water, you give them a cup of water. And now you're missing $10, right? She's like, "That's brilliant." I was like, and this and that, and you're not in your and she was like, "Okay, well, I want you to help me." I was like, "Rebuild your business." Cool. So then she calls me the next week and she goes, "Hey, I got a gig to do a new Broadway theater and I want you to be the bar manager." And I was like, "Cool." She goes, "So meet me there." I think it was on a Friday. She goes, "It's 254 West 54th Street between 8th and 9th. And I was like, "All right." So I jump in a cab and I get down there. It's fucking Studio 54.
I was gonna say, why did that sound?
I show up.
You knew the address?
I show up and there's the glass doors with 54. And I'm like, so there was a show called
You don't know this?
Cabaret, the Broadway show that Liza Minnelli made famous, but it was on Broadway and it was in Times Square at a place called the Kit Kat Club, which was an actual club, which the Cabaret was based out of. Yep. But you probably don't remember this. There was a giant crane that fell off a building into the Kit Kat Club. So there was all this damage and whatever. So a guy named Richard Hadar, who's if you look at the Manhattan skyline, the building that has like the angle like this, it's the City Court building.
Yeah.
He owns that building. Wow. I don't know if he still does. He's a real estate billionaire, which is another Donald Trump funny story. We'll get to that later. So he owned that building. So he bought Studio 54. It had sat vacant for years because it was the club, even, Steve Rubell and Ian Schrager, and then it got shut down. Then they reopened it as studio. Then it got shut down again. And then it was a strip club.
It's always been a bar and a strip
and
club.
It's an opera house. A lot of people don't know that. It was an original theater space. I did not know that. So this guy named Richard Hadar bought Studio 54 as a present for his then girlfriend, Mika, because she wanted to be an actress. So he's like, "Well, I'll just buy a theater space." And the Roundabout Theater Company, who produced Cabaret, said, "Hey, Studio 54 is now available. What if we moved Cabaret to Studio 54?" So then Julie, this woman, got the gig to do the bar and concession. So about a week into it, Josh Hadar, Richard's son, he's still a buddy of mine, he comes up to me, and they had another guy, Fred, and he's a great character, and this other guy, and they're like, "Hey, so it seems like you know more about how to run a bar than this Julie woman does." And they go, "Yeah." They go, "Listen, we're gonna shit can her. We're gonna fire her. But we want you to stay on and be the bar manager." I was like, and they're like, "And we're doing a VIP nightclub upstairs, and we're gonna do like huge, like full on nightclub events and like $1 million events with Ted." I was like, "Okay." So now here I am. I'm 23 years old, and I'm the manager of Studio 54 in Manhattan.
How nervous
that
were you?
crazy?
I'm
It was
nervous.
insane. It was nuts.
No.
It was nuts. Scooter worked there for a while.
Did they ever?
My brother.
Is it because of your last name?
I-
Because are they afraid because you might be part of the mafia?
Well, there's that too.
DiMaggio,
Yeah.
come on.
I did learn a little bit about my family from the Geraldo Vault special years ago.
Geraldo vaults.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Oh wow.
There's a guy named
Yeah.
Jay Campisi who was part of the Giancana family, who was I think he was my dad's godfather or something.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, something
Wow.
like that.
I
Allegedly, Your
Yeah.
Honor. Allegedly.
allegedly, yes.
Lineage.
My Nana
Wow.
Madeline, if I showed you a picture of my Nana's wedding dress, I mean, literally like a train 50.
I believe it.
Her wedding dress cost $500 in like 1936.
It's like
That's a lot of money
like
back
the
then.
Godfather.
A lot of money back
Something
You
then.
know, like the Godfather's train. all over you.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, Your Honor.
Allegedly. I'm telling you.
Could be just
I-
folklore.
I think it is.
They
a
told
little
us they
bit
were
sometimes.
farmers. I was like, oh, okay. Actually, my Papa Tony was a singer in Chicago. He was a crooner on the radio, and that's how my Nana heard him on the radio, and she said, "I'm going to marry that man one day." She did.
Wow.
Yeah.
She had wow.
Yeah, true story.
That's
Set her-
that's kinda cool.
Yeah.
She set her aims at the. I'm
Yeah.
gonna marry that guy.
Yeah.
And the funny
Whether
thing is, it's just the voice that she fell in love with.
Yeah. And she always used to say, Papa Tony, she goes, "He's 99% father, 1% husband." Isn't that the Italian way? The
Yeah.
great dad. I mean, great
Yes.
dads. Husbands, nah, that's much.
Not so much.
Nah,
Right.
They mean well though.
They still love each other. They love the family.
But that's
That's
whole
the
like if you-
family thing.
yeah, people
It's
like
the whole
growing up
family
like,
thing.
"Did you watch The Sopranos?" I'm like, "No, I didn't watch The Sopranos. I didn't need to watch The Sopranos."
You lived it.
But those
Not
guys.
necessarily
Well,
the
they'll
past,
go
right?
whack a guy, but they would never disrespect their mother
No,
or just
right,
You
right.
don't respect anybody in the family that is
Yeah.
a female
Yeah.
that's higher or that's higher age
Yeah.
than you.
That's damn. You're right about that.
You whack
That's
two
it.
guys, throw them in a trunk, but you would not be late for 2:00 dinner or Sunday
No,
dinner at
because you're
Nana's.
just afraid.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, hell no. No, no,
Wow.
no.
Because they know that wooden spoon
Yeah.
or something or a frying pan's going to come near
Right.
or something's going to come near you.
Yeah.
Back in the
Wow.
day.
Family values.
Family
It is.
values.
Runs deep.
And
Family
it's the
values.
funny thing is family values now to this day are gone.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Are gone.
Yeah.
That's
Are
shit.
gone.
And it's interesting too, because even the men with the wives, like, and I've heard some of them say things like, well, they'd have these mistresses or whatnot, and they were like, "I'm not going to do that to that's the mother of my kids. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to, it was like they almost saw them as this almost like matronly, like patrons, almost like a Virgin Mary kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's like for them to have a mistress or a girlfriend, it was almost like out of respect. Like, no, I'm going to do my dirty thing with her, not with you.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know,
right.
and they almost didn't see, like my papa and every man in my, they didn't see anything wrong with it. They're like, well,
I never thought of it that way. I mean,
You never thought about
because not that way he explained
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
want to do my dirty deeds with
Right.
my wife. because
Yeah,
she's
but the mother of my kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'll find these little side ladies.
There's an old expression
Exactly.
growing up. If we ever,
side chicks.
yeah,
Side piece.
The funny thing is, every single movie out there that has like Sopranos,
Right.
Godfather,
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas,
Yeah.
all those, even what's the other one out there? But it doesn't matter. All those have heritage behind that because they looked everything up. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah. No,
That
the director's
is
definitely getting
pretty much
what they're doing.
the final truth of how things were back in the day.
And all great movies like that had the background, the historical background of all what happened in those type of deals.
So actually, to get off the subject about that part, but you're 23, you said, when you ran?
23 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that club.
So
Yeah, I moved there when I was 20
how long did you run it?
for almost 7 years.
Wow, you did a
Yeah.
nice little stint right there.
Yeah.
7 years. So you made decent money at that at 23.
Yeah, and then I had a partnership in 2 nightclubs in Manhattan that I was managing
Partnership.
yeah. So that's a crazy story too. My dad he's like, "You've been everything but pregnant president." I'm like, "Hey, don't count out the president thing. Joey D Joey D 2028, bro." Me and Trump were allowed to I got flags with my name on it too, bro. My boat's named Joey D. I got a big Joey D flag, and people are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
No, so that's a crazy story. Yeah. So I did that, and then I was I was moving around apartment to apartment as one does in New York, and I was in between apartments, and studio was closing down for a minute because Cabaret the Broadway show was leaving, and then a new show called Assassins was coming in with Neil Patrick Harris, actually, who starred in it. So I had a break, and I was like, okay, this is a perfect time. I'm moving up. I'm getting a new apartment. I had acquired a couple cats and a bunch of shit. Ground scores from New York.
You say cats.
Cats.
I'm sorry.
I still have a cat. I have a cat, Kiki, who's she just won't die. She's 19. She just won't die.
He just got a cat, so don't feel
bad. She is the sweetest thing. She is a sweet cat.
She just won't
I had
die.
Queen Liza May Minnelli, who I found outside of the high school for the performing arts where Liza Minnelli went to school. That's why she's Liza. I had King Leonardo DiCaprio, who when I was living with Scooter in Brooklyn, just showed up on my doorstep one day, this big orange tabby who looked like Leonardo, it was like King Leonardo DiCaprio. And then, so I had them. And then I said to Marilyn, my mother, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna come home for a little bit. I'm just gonna kind of take a break and whatnot. And then I'm gonna go back in like a month when my new apartment's ready, my lease starts. But if you don't mind, I'm gonna bring some shit home. And will you mind taking care of my cats for a minute?" She was like, "Yeah." So I go back. Scooter had this van. My dad bought him this old conversion van that had been gutted out that somebody used for a kid with somebody with a wheelchair, because Scooter was an artist. He still is an artist. And so he would transport these artworks all over. And did you ever hear the story about how we got evicted from the apartment? And we lived in the art studio at Pratt. That was a crazy story too. So I come home. I know, it's
so
crazy
much to
shit.
talk about. I love it.
Yeah, the show's going to be like 5 hours long.
I love it.
So I go home, and I had a friend named Alec from Severodvinsk, Russia. When we were up to middle school, we had a Russian connection back in the day where we had pen pals from Russia, and they came over here. So I had a pen pal named Lena Mirakova. So she came over and she stayed with us for like 2 weeks, and then we were supposed to go to Russia. Well, that was the whole breakup of the Soviet Union. And my dad was like, "Yeah, no, not going there." But this guy Alec, who kind of put everything together, we had remained kind of friends, and he would come in. This was fascinating. He would come to the United States, and he had a lot of friends in this area from when he brought the kids. He would come and he would bring tons of empty suitcases. Now this is back in late 90s, 2000. And he would go to the outlet mall and buy jeans, Levi's, and then he would take them back to Russia, and they were worth 10 times their value.
Holy crap.
It is.
Yeah.
When I was working for Lico,
Yeah.
and I was driving for them, they always wanted to go shopping at Michigan City at the outlet mall and go to the Levi's store and buy Levi's.
American brands.
And it was everybody from Russia wanted to buy those.
Yeah.
And I went, why? I said, because they are like money, and they're like money.
Yes, jeans.
Yes. They're like butter over there.
Yeah.
I went, all right,
yeah,
I'll take you. Give me that vodka back.
So another funny thing about me, I'm a licensed chauffeur, which is hilarious because of anybody that knows me, I am the worst driver in the entire world. Like, thank God my car has autopilot and drives itself. Otherwise, I would
seriously,
I would crash into shit.
I didn't know that part about him.
So when I was a kid, my dad, because in big Italian families, like everybody, my dad's like, our cousin Pat Lasalier, whatever. He's like, hey, Pat's got a limo company. These guys make like 100, and this was back years ago. He's like, these guys make 100, but your Uncle Butch does it. They'll drive somebody to the airport in Chicago, but you gotta have a chauffeur's license. Go get a chauffeur license. It's easy to do. So I do.
It is easy.
So I had a chauffeur license. So one day, Alec he found out I had a chauffeur license. So when he would come here, he would have me drive him around because I was like insured or whatever, and whatever. The reason behind Alec is I was home from New York, And Alec called me. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And Alec from Russia said, turn on your television. I go, why? He goes, turn on your TV. It was 9/11. So the first plane had hit the tower.
Yeah.
The second plane I saw live. Me and my mother are standing there. And she looked at me and she goes, you are not going back there. I'm like, no, clearly not. But also my brother Scooter lived right across from Brooklyn Bridge in Brooklyn, like in that Bed-Stuy Clinton Hill area.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Well, my phone was a New York phone. I lived in Manhattan. My phone didn't work for weeks. We couldn't get in touch with anybody.
Really?
I had no idea whether Scooter was alive or dead.
Everything lost
Jason
cell tower,
Rotter
right?
was in the Twin Towers. You know the Rotters. He was in the Twin Towers like the day before. My brother and I, Scooter and I, were in there about a couple weeks before for an art show. It was devastating, and of course we had so many, and so I was supposed to go back like the next week, and I was like, all right, well, clearly not. So then I waited till it calmed down a little bit, and I think I waited a couple years, and then I went back in 2004. Went back to Studio 54, and then they ended up kind of closing. But in the meantime, I know it's a roundabout way to get to this story, but in the meantime, this guy named Rob de Blasio, we had a fellow friend, and
what was his last name?
De Blasio. Yeah, true story. True story. Robbie D and Joey D. I know. Oh, and you want to talk about Goomba? This fucking guy, this fucking guy, this fucking guy. His dad owns a bunch of liquor stores and like right out of, laundromats. Yes. So Rob, he calls me. He's like, hey, why don't you come down to the club? We knew promoters, like club promoters together. He goes, hey, I want to talk to you about something. I said, well, yeah, what's up? He goes, come down. He had this shitty little dive bar called the 169 bar in Manhattan. It used to be called the Bloody Bucket in the 50s because there were so many fights. There were just blood everywhere.
Really?
And it's underground. Wow. So you go down.
Oh, it's like Czars.
Yeah, like Czars. But like Czars this place makes Czars look like the Taj Mahal, right? God love Czars. I remember drinking Zimas there. Oh my God.
That name.
Wow.
Zimas. We drank those down. When I went to Millikan University in college, we drove down to this bar called C Street and we drink Zimas at U of I. So I go down and it's this just dive bar. I mean, just shithole. It's in Chinatown, Canal and East Broadway. By the way,
I miss Chinatown.
By the way, anybody that thinks that they don't eat dogs and cats, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. Hey, but it is what it is. So, well, my dad eats pickled pig's feet, and so what are you gonna do? Yeah. So I go down there, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for someone to help me run." And he goes, "And I have another place called the 247 Lounge on 24/7 Eldridge Street." And he goes, "And I got to do something. This place isn't doing well." And I was like, "All right, well, what are you?" And he's like, "I don't know. I bought it, and they had live music here, but it was kind of a shit show." And I was like, "Well, what if?" So I came up with this idea. I said, "What if we did live music here?" But I knew a lot of musicians and a lot of people. And, of course I knew it, I was really tied into that whole entertainment performance network and clubs in New York and nightclubs, being from Studio 54 and all that. Like that, my dad would fly out with like his girlfriend at the time, whatever her name was, whatever. And I'm like, you want to go to some nightclubs? He'd go, yeah. We'd roll up to like Chaos, Spy Bar, where like the Yankees hang out. We roll up, velvet ropes down, right in, champagne at the table. Nice. My dad would just look at me. He goes, "I don't even want to know." I'm like, "Don't ask. Don't ask. You don't want to know, Dad. Don't ask." Okay. Little hand stuff at the door. You don't want to know. So this guy Rob, I'm like, all right. I'm like, I know CBGBs. I know bands. They treat bands like shit. Like all those they just treat them like garbage. Yeah. Because they're like, hey, we're giving you exposure. So I said, what if we said you need people in your bar? This is a great venue to play. It's got a big open space in the front. I said, what if we advertised on Craigslist? And what was the other one? Not Craigslist. What was the other one back in the day?
Jeez.
I don't know. Oh, Friendster. Did you ever have Friendster?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that it came all the way up, but that was like another thing you could do. And like, it was kind of like the before Facebook and all that, like MySpacey kind of thing. And I said, what if we said, hey, you've got a band, you want exposure, you want a place to play. You pack the bar with people. I'll give you 10% of whatever the bar makes while you're here. I'll get you some tickets. We'll get some sponsorships, like Gold, some shitty beer or whatever. And turns out it worked. I mean, it fucking worked because these bands were like, yeah, we're trying to invite people down to see our music, but it's CBGBs and it's expensive and it's hard to get in. So at one point, it just started working, and then we'd have like DJ like dance kind of things there too, like with this really cool like Euro thing called Mondo. And at one point, Time Out New York called us one of the top 10 live music venues in New York City, which was huge because people, these bands were like,
especially in New York,
especially in New York.
There are bars popping up as galore.
But what happens is that community is such a tight knit, that live music community, and they're like, hey, CBGBs, yeah, it's CBGBs, but they treat you like shit. They don't give you shit. They don't give you anything. Check out this little dive bar in Chinatown, and you can bring your friends. You can do whatever you want. The Yeah Yeahs played there before they were popular. Like they came and played at my bar. It was like fucking Yeah Yeahs. So that was cool. So then I had, so basically I was a managing partner. So I got a piece of that business, and then I promoted and did promotions for the other. It was a little lounge called 247 Eldridge Street. So that we took a little different approach. It was a little more swanky. So I said, what if, this was my idea, what if I got some girls? Because the way that it works in clubs is dudes are not going to go into a club if it's a bunch of dudes.
It's still
right.
the same anywhere.
It's the same everywhere, right? That's why ladies get in free drink, ladies drink for one.
Ladies night.
So I would go on and I would say, hey, if you're a hot chick between the ages of 21 and 30 or whatever it was, I was generous, 21 to 25 probably. You and 5 of your friends come down. You'll drink for free all night. All I ask is that you dress like a whore, basically. I said it nicely, and you're gonna stand in the front window and you're gonna dance. And sure as shit,
bro.
Oh my God! These dudes are walking down the street. This is east. This is like like not Chinatown, a little more Little Italy area. And there are a ton of bars and clubs. These bros are walking down. They see these hot chicks in the window. Like they would come in. They'd call their, hey bro, get down here. There's these hot chicks. And the next thing you know, so it was cool. It was fun.
Smart.
I got, I got an opportunity to just play, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Rob was like, do whatever you want. And then I kind of got over that. And then he knocked up his girlfriend, who he was like, I got to move down to Florida and make an honest woman of her and take over the insurance. That was funny how
I got to leave the bar scene.
He met this chick on a cruise and told her he owned a nightclub in Manhattan. She was like all about it. And then it was this shitty little hole in the wall dive bar in Chinatown. Yeah. Angel, she's sweet. She was a good girl. I love those guys. They're good people. So
still close to Manhattan.
Yeah, that was still Manhattan.
He wasn't lying.
And I lived in an apartment above in that building, 169 East Broadway. It was the size of this room, maybe 10 more feet. Right, it was a one room thing. I shit you not, I'd paid $1,600 a month.
I believe it.
In 2002, 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, now it's probably $1,000 more.
There was I think it's $6,000. I think it's $5,000 or $6,000 now. Yeah, because I got a buddy who still lives in that area. There was a mahjong gambling ring on the second floor with a massage parlor.
Dude,
if you could see my air quotes.
Happy endings.
Well,
yeah.
The massage part.
Happy beginning, middle, and ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can believe that part. You ever played mahjong?
What's that?
You ever played mahjong?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, it's
that's a crazy
game.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, living in Chinatown, like this was Chinatown where the Chase Manhattan Bank was in Chinese. Like there was no English.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna handle that.
It was intense.
English?
Yeah.
But it was cool. And I tell people, like, if you think you know what Chinese food is, you have no idea. Like until you've had wonton soup or duck that's been hanging in a window all day, or meat that's questionably not chicken.
But it tastes like chicken.
I'm just saying.
Round eye, you're back.
I'm just saying. That's terrible. That's terrible. However,
that's what the people call me at China Garden.
Oh.
What do you call you?
Oh, round eye, you're back.
Round eye.
I said, okay, squinty eyes.
No, you did.
Yes, I do.
My buddy Austin would love that.
I do.
Yeah.
I think or Scooter Boy, you're back now.
Scooter Boy. I saw your scooter up front.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, they make fun of me. I make fun of them, so it's all good.
Yeah, Chinatown that was an experience. That was interesting.
I make them laugh though.
Yeah,
they always laugh at me. I laugh at them. I said,
yeah.
oh, you got rid of
the
plexiglass. Thank God. because
for COVID.
yeah, for COVID they had the plexiglass, the whole thing of plexiglass.
Oh, those
and a
poor people
slide-
during COVID when people
and they had like a slider, like it was a bank thing, and they slid your food out to you.
Yeah.
Really?
And, yeah.
Little Tokyo in New Buffalo, like all during COVID, like we actually a bunch of people came together and we're like, guys, you have to go support them. It's so
I never ate there.
it's so it's called Song now.
Yeah,
But-
I never ate there.
But again, people blamed anyone of any sort of Asian descent for COVID
yeah,
and
definitely,
thought that
definitely,
they brought it over.
definitely.
They start. I'm like, guys, come on. These people they're trying to feed their children.
They
Their
had
heart.
nothing to do
Come
with that.
on.
They had nothing to do
I'm
with
gonna
that.
fast forward a little bit on the question. Since you said you in Buffalo, one of our good friends just opened up a restaurant there. Have you ate there yet at
What's the name of it?
Po' Boy?
Oh, Post Boy.
Post Boy, thank you.
Ben, you know Ben?
No, James.
Oh, James. No,
Yeah.
I know James really well.
Yeah.
The owner, Ben Holland's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And James is chef. Yeah.
Yep.
He's partner, chef
Yep.
partner. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they're partners. Yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah. James from Houndstooth. Yeah. So I know James'
Oh, yeah,
daughter.
Jimmy. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Galbraith.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we don't like Jimmy.
James Galbraith.
Yeah.
Jimmy, yeah, whatever you want. Chef James. And I know his daughter Gabby so I've known her for years. And yeah, I've known
It's gonna be awesome.
it's gorgeous.
It's gonna be the first year in the summer, so they're gonna make
So full disclosure, I tried to talk Ben out of that, and
Why?
I'm glad I did because it's a long story, but so that's how I ended up being at Stray Dog. I had the partnership in the two nightclubs, and I was like, I'm gonna come home. So I called my mom. I was like, hey, I'm gonna come home. I know my bedroom's an art studio now. I actually about a month after I went to college, my bedroom was an art studio. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I come live with you? She goes, yeah, where are you going to work? I'm like, well, I was going to take some time off. She's like, no, I don't think so. Like, if you're living with me, you better have a job because I'm not paying for your broke ass. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, I have plenty of money and whatever. So she's like, hey, Brooke Swanson saw in the Hero Palladium that the Stray Dog was looking for a general manager. So my mom calls me and she's like, hey, you know that place Stray Dog in New Buffalo by Tim and Rick's salon? Because Tim from Taylor Heath.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, we grew up with Tim. My mom worked.
yeah,
I go, yeah, I've been there before. She goes, they're looking for a general manager.
When I had hair, I always got my hair cut.
Yeah.
Tim's?
Tim Taylor.
Yeah.
Tim's in Long Beach
Taylor
now.
Heath.
He's just down the road from me.
Taylor and Heath. Yeah, I had long hair down here, James.
Yeah, he's in Indiana.
Yeah, I had long hair down here. They love.
You did have long. Yeah,
I had long.
Tim loved you. I love Tim. Tim looks the same. He hasn't changed a bit. Not one bit. I just found the other day.
I saw him last year.
Yeah,
He's
a character.
He hasn't changed.
No. And I don't think he ever will.
No.
Yeah. So I faxed my resume to the Stray Dog back when we used fax machines, and I had because I did some modeling work in New York, and I had an agent. It had my headshot on it, and the owner Leslie, she's like family to Mark and Leslie. They're the best people ever, the hardest working people you'll ever meet. She calls me like 10 minutes later, and she's like, "Hi, this is Leslie Denazy from the Stray Dog. Have you really done all these things on your resume?" And I said, yeah. She goes,
put everything on it.
She goes, you Studio 54, and she goes, you look really young. I'm like, yeah, I have a baby face, and it's gonna come in handy someday. And so that's how she's like, what, when can you start? And I was like, so that was end of 2004, and beginning of 2005. So I started April 1st of 2005 was my first day at Stray Dog, and then I was there for about 20 years. So Ben Holland one day calls me. He's like, hey, I want to run something by you. I'm like, yeah, Ben, what's up? Ben's in finance, and his dad Rick's a super nice guy. They have a really nice house in Marquette right there in New Buffalo. So I've known Ben for 20 plus years. And of course, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about opening a restaurant in New Buffalo. I'm like, why? He's like, I think it'd be great. I'm like, no. He's like, no, I want to do it. I'm like, Ben, dude, no. Like, why?
I can see why you say no to a restaurant.
He's like, well,
why? Yeah, I'm wondering why.
He's like,
it's because it's touristy.
It's just the hardest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
He said, well, your family. I go, yeah, well, what's been there since 1957? Yeah, they do. He's like, well, Stray Dog. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, Mark and Leslie.
Stray Dog been there
since 2001.
Okay.
I said, Ben, you do realize Mark and Leslie work every single day. It's so much work. And if you're not in it, or you're not born and raised in it, but if you're, and I was like, Ben, and then he started then kind of throwing his ideas. I'm like, Ben, it would be awesome. I'm like, listen, it's not going to be easy. You know that. You might have to, but
you get the right crew in there, though.
You got to get the right crew. You have to have money, get a good investor or whatever. I said, you have to have 3 years of payroll, because New Buffalo now is much different than it was years ago. I remember Mark and Leslie telling me when they opened Stray Dog, those winters in New Buffalo were a
Harsh.
ghost town. Now it's a way different story, but
It is.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of Ben. That restaurant is one of the most beautiful restaurants you'll ever see.
I have to
The
go visit.
build
haven't-
out is
Have you been there?
spectacular.
No, I haven't been there yet.
Food's amazing.
We'll go a road trip.
Yeah. And then the outdoor patio, which they haven't even, it's been open, but they haven't even really done full service yet. But
yeah, but
yeah,
they
they're
haven't
going
been
to
nice
crush
yet.
it.
But they haven't been nice yet. We're now, since Memorial Day is this weekend.
Yeah.
Memorial Day this weekend, they haven't had
Yeah.
a good summer night. So Memorial Day weekend starts summer and around here from New Buffalo to Saugatuck. I mean, that starts
For all the way
for
along
everybody.
the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that starts true prime season for Chicago people, Indiana people, Ohio people. It doesn't matter.
And it's
that
just
starts it.
And then one of the things I said to him, I said, it's so hard to find help in New Buffalo because 99.9% of your staff is going to come from Indiana, which is not far, Michigan City, but because for the 20 years at Stray Dog, we would go to job, we would just try to you could never find enough, at least good help, because it's just such a small pool. And New Buffalo now you can look it up, is the most expensive real estate in the entire state of Michigan.
It is not
top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
You can't just go live there for a summer. There's nowhere to live. You can't just rent an apartment. You can't just, I mean, that's sort of the barrier to entry.
It's like
he's got people coming from Chicago.
It's like Silver Beach. It's like Lions Park Drive, all up and down, all over. You from New Buffalo to Union Pier.
If there's a house in New Buffalo or all of Harbor Country, I live right downtown Three Oaks. If there's a house, you're like, oh, that's a nice house. It's $1 million.
Yes.
And people don't believe me. There's a 900 square foot house down the road from me in downtown Three Oaks. It's 900 square feet. It was condemned by the city. It was condemned. They came in, and I know this because a kitchen manager who worked at Stray Dog lived there, and he had to move because it was condemned.
Wow.
They redid the they fixed the outside. They gutted it. It's got a decent kitchen. It has like Formica countertops. It's got a single door stainless refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's 900 square feet. It is on the market right now for $400,000, and they're going to get it.
Oh, every last penny
for 900 square feet.
I will say this. Down there, phenomenal housing, phenomenal everything. I can't stop using the word phenomenal because New Buffalo built from being country land.
Yeah, I mean it was
to what it is now.
Yeah.
You cannot use any other word but that.
Lakefront properties.
I mean,
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic because St. Joe was one of the richest places to live. They bumped that up to New Buffalo.
Yeah.
And to say one thing before we do our
St. Joe has a lot more, I would say, more calmer and business, more year round. So it's not so seasonal. I mean, it is seasonal, but
for the Stray Dog, I want to say this before we do the top of the hour. Stray Dog, you cannot go anywhere without finding someone from California to Maine having a Stray Dog t-shirt on and I said, hey, look at Stray Dog. He said, oh, you've been there? I said, no, I live there. I mean, I live in St. Joe. It's only 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Do you live there? He says, no, I only been there once. But you cannot find someone
crazy?
been a Stray Dog t-shirt on anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
to support the businesses around
it is awesome. It's just a mom and pop shop.
Great. It's great. It's great merchandise. The branding is brilliant. It's good material. Leslie, the owner, she handpicks out everything. She and her they have a bunch of resources. I mean, they're the smartest. They are the kindest, most generous, hardworking people I've ever met. They just have this vision, and it's brilliant.
It's an awesome.
But
vision.
they deserve every bit of success they have. They're literally the build it from the ground up story.
And that is one awesome place.
That's why I loved working with them and for them.
I should ask them. I should ask.
Why not?
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. I'll try.
What you got on the time?
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh.
Top of the hour.
All right, guys. We're at the top of the hour. Third Hour Truth and Podcast coming at you again. Episode 88.
88.
Yes, sir.
88.
88 episodes.
That's my favorite number.
Pushing right along.
ESPN 88. 88.
I didn't think about that part.
I am James Gill, your host. This is Joe Hill. I almost called you Gill.
Joe
Hill.
Whatever your name is.
Hill and Gill.
Hill Gill. Yeah.
We're the Hill and Gill show.
I love it.
Once we get syndicated. That's the goal.
The Hill and Gill show.
And we have our special guest, Joey DiMaggio.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the show, guys.
At the mic. We have been doing a lot of rambling, and I'm sorry, I talk a lot. If you haven't noticed.
No, actually,
that's fine.
That's what we love about the show because we can ramble.
Yeah.
And people come up on the streets to us and say, we loved your show. We love how you guys bicker back and forth, or how you guys get off topic, or even if we're just talking about something. That's how the show should go.
Yeah. I mean, any good podcast.
It's a great
We'll
flow.
veer off topic sometimes.
We might veer off, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get back back to the subject, but it's awesome that it have guests come on and want to talk.
I'm a Dragon Leo. I don't know if you know what that means. I don't know if you've seen all my shit. Basically means I'm one of the biggest narcissistic douchebags in the history of the world. I'm a Leo born in the year of the dragon. If you Google Dragon Leos, it's like dictators, like Fortune 100 CEO, like, you know, but in a humble way, I try to say, you know, I'm a good, you know.
I don't know, say on that one.
Yeah.
It might be the first time I caught myself off guard.
I named my boat after myself. It's called the Joey D, and it's got I have 2 tattoos. One is actually, well, I have 3 now because Amy Jo makes you get a tattoo. If you don't ever go on vacation with Amy Jo. It's a lot of fun, but you have to get a tattoo. That's just the rule. So I have one of a dragon. It's a dragon in the shape of the Leo sign that my mom actually drew. So I have my mom's art because my mom's an artist. And then I have a blue and green star. That's my favorite shape. My eyes are 2 different colors, blue and green. So it means a lot to me. And it's my mom's artwork. So that's my boat name and design. It's the Joey D with my dragon Leo and my blue and green star. And until people get to know me, that it looks really like, somebody said to me once, like, you can't name your boat after yourself. I was like,
yes, I can. Just watch me.
It's my boat. I'll do what I like if that's all right with you. And then I get into ADOC and at the mornings I'm like, oh, but the Justin E and the Peggy Sue and the Kelsey Ray. Like, really? Like, no, you have to name it after a woman, after someone else. I'm like, get fuck no. Come on. It's very me.
It's like a car. Everybody says you got to name your car after
guys with
a female. After a female.
Girls, guys.
What if you don't like girls?
Then
hey,
there you go, right there.
Yeah.
I always name. I say, come on, fucking Cletus. Let's
call your car Cletus.
Yeah, come on. Like I'm kicking an old man. Come on, Cletus, let's go. Get up this hill.
That's hilarious.
That's what my mom always said that when she was
come on, Cletus.
Come on, Cletus.
I would say, come on, Bessie.
Yeah, or Bessie.
Come on, Bessie.
Either way, Cletus and Bessie.
Like Grandma Bessie. Remember Grandma Bessie?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah.
Rest her soul.
Yeah, rest her soul.
Yeah. Good times.
I always got to kiss the sky when I do that.
Yeah.
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 There's so many superstition things that I've gotten from my the salt over, throwing the salt over.
So this is all Catholic right here?
Well, a lot of it's Italian. A lot of it's
Italian.
Yeah, it's Italian.
Yeah.
Pennies in the windowsill, and if you see a cross,
you still do the pennies in the windowsill?
Yeah,
so do I.
If you see something like if a silverware is crossed, you have to kiss it and then break the cross.
Yeah, break the cross.
Do you know why the salt over the left shoulder? You know why that is?
It's bad luck.
If salt spills, you're supposed to throw it over your left shoulder to blind the devil because he's behind you coming upon you.
I throw it over my right because I always want to blind the other person.
Yeah, well. I love how they think that some iodized table salt's gonna blind the devil.
My thing is, I told my cousin one day he was drunk. He spilled the salt. I said, "You throw the salt shaker over your shoulder." So he took
the whole thing.
The whole thing over his shoulder. Okay,
just chucked it.
That's what he was doing. Tequila shot. Yeah. Actually, he was a tequila shot. He said it was his 21st birthday. He said, "How are you supposed to do this?" I said, "He got the shot." I said, "All right, you put the lime next to this tequila shot. You throw the salt shaker over your shoulder, the whole thing over your shoulder.
Did you hit somebody?
And then you lick your hand." And he went, "All right." So he said, "Why do you lick the hand?" I said, "Because you got salt on your skin, so it's gonna help you." So you physically put the lime next to the drink. I said, "Got that." Dude, the whole salt
chucked it.
He did the whole salt shaker over his shoulder.
Awesome.
And then he took the shot. And then he licked his hand. He said, "That does taste different." I said,
"He fell for that."
And he was 21. He never done it. He never did a tequila shot. So then I watched where the salt shaker went. It hit a bunch of ladies behind us. I went, "Oh, damn it." And I said, "I'm sorry. It was his 21st birthday. I had to do this to him."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then he saw who I was talking to. And he just got out of boot camp, so he's still in his army gear.
Oh my god!
Says,
I'm surprised those ladies didn't slap the crap out of you.
No, like they said, "Hi, my name's Nick, and I just got out of boot camp." I said, "Dude, he's 21. And
You told him to do all that stuff.
yeah, he believed me. Amber
Yeah.
looked at me. She served it to me. Amber looked at me and says, "Did you just tell him to do all that?"
Let
Yeah.
that man
That's
drink
awesome.
a shot.
Oh,
You only turned 21 once.
no,
Yeah.
if you're with me, you're doing shots.
Somebody
Shot.
told me this old
You
thing
know
where you
that.
squirt lime juice in your eye with tequila and it was some weird shit I've heard.
I would never do that in my life.
Yeah, somebody did it.
Or you
Lime
make them do
juice?
like crazy shots like cement mixers and shit that curdle.
I
Yeah,
didn't do that because I
sweaty
didn't like when someone did it
Mexicans
to
and-
me.
Yeah.
See, I didn't like when someone did it to me. I'm not gonna do something to that. I'm gonna do the shot with the person, so
Yeah.
I'm doing the shot with
You
them.
ever heard of the sweaty
Well,
Mexican?
when you're 20,
Ugh.
Oh, you ever done it?
no.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It's tequila and mayonnaise mixed together, warmed up in a microwave.
Oh, I have to
And you
get
make
somebody-
someone on their 21st birthday do it after they've already been
Yeah.
drinking
Yeah,
heavily
we
and
have
see if
we have to delete this part of this thing.
they
I
can't
want to do that to
and see
somebody.
if they throw up or not.
I want to do that to somebody. I
Or
really do.
smoker's cough,
Yeah.
Jägermeister and mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
We
You
used
didn't
to have
know
a thing
this?
at Straight Out back
No,
in the day
yeah.
when it was
New to
like
me, man.
crazy. We had a thing
This
called
is all
shot
new
roulette.
news to me. Tequila,
Wait a minute.
mayonnaise,
Tequila and mayonnaise.
Didn't Scooter do one of those?
and Jaeger
Probably.
mayonnaise.
I was saying, didn't he do one of those? I thought he did.
Yeah, I mean,
Warm.
it wouldn't surprise me.
Warm, you warm it.
Oh, you
You warm
the
it
trick is
for-
you got to warm it up. Yeah,
You warm it up for 5 seconds. Though,
Yeah.
It's gonna
Oh, it's like slightly.
yeah, it's just a
yeah,
mix.
slightly
right,
warm
right.
because you don't want it to curdle because it will curdle.
Okay.
See, I love mayonnaise and I love tequila, so I don't know.
Somebody's gonna like. What
I
the hell
can't do
is
tequila.
this?
I'm too old to drink any much anymore, dude. If I drink, it's like a 2-day recovery process.
Yes.
I
Listen.
can't do it.
Friday night, I went out to drink.
Like what the?
I mean, I normally don't go out to bars. No, look, this is
And
not.
he
me.
tried to get a hold of me, and I
Yeah, I was like, I want to
wasn't
hang out with Joe. I
answering.
want to hang out with Joe.
Yeah.
Wasn't
This
answering.
guy totally ditched me. So I'll go to a bar by myself.
Just straight up did a
No,
nope.
I
Yeah,
answered.
yeah, where you at?
I said, "Where you
Where
at?"
you
I
at?
said, "Are you still there? Are you still there?" Because I was hanging
I
out.
was looking at my phone. He's never texted me back.
Yeah,
Anyway, night goes on.
Bro,
I know.
you
Like-
leave a bro hanging like
I-
that?
Night goes on,
I
and
did
Come
that to my
on.
brother.
And I'm
yes.
like,
And
people
I-
were buying me shots that I normally don't go out. I haven't seen you out.
Yeah.
So I get home. It's 5 a.m.
What?
Right. I eat some tater tots, blah, blah, blah. Pass
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Where'd you
I wake up
wait
on
a
my
minute, where'd-
dining room floor.
Yeah.
Never made it to my bed.
I asked him. I said, when he told me the story, did you have a tater tot in your mouth?
No, dude. That tater
That's-
tots was gone.
I like
but,
potato tots. That's a
no,
nice touch.
but still, I'm 52 years old.
Yeah.
I can't hang with these young kids anymore, man.
No, nothing works
He
right
said he
anymore.
went to Mickey's. He said, I know why.
I got
feel
arrested
young."
outside of Mickey's once.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
True
I did-
story.
Me too.
True story.
Not me. Sorry.
yeah.
You two are in the same boat on that one.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm,
But
I'm in the
dude,
canoe.
I can't hang with these young
No,
guys.
God, no.
You can.
No,
Mickey's
no.
is the word. I like going there. I love Mason and what he's done to the place.
They're still, dude.
But
It's fancy now, right?
ish, yeah, they
When
got
it's
rid
for
of.
the
They got rid of the
50s?
bands.
Oh.
it
Oh,
was
so
50s
cool.
and not the new 40s at all. Screw
Yeah.
that.
And he said some young girls were talking to him, and all of a sudden these guys saw that
came out of
talking to him,
nowhere. It's
and
like took over the women. I was like, all right,
Oh,
you
damn.
guys win. I give up.
not like he said.
I give up.
These guys saw they were talking to me, and
They came in,
Yeah.
and took over. I'm
What
like,
time do you go to bed now? Do you go to bed early?
No, I'm
Are you
a
late?
bartender. So
still-
I mean,
Oh,
I
right,
go- I
right.
go to
Oh,
bed
that's right,
late.
right,
I go to
yeah.
bed late.
Yeah.
I go to bed late. But the thing is,
but if he wasn't bartending, he does go to bed early.
yes,
Yeah.
I will go to sleep early, but that's neither here nor there. But going out and hanging out the bars on the opposite side of the
Right.
bar,
Oh, it's a different story.
totally different
Right,
story.
right.
Whatever.
Totally
Yeah.
different story.
I'm still young and
Yeah.
Do you drink when you work a little bit or no?
I like here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
I
we don't. I don't. We honor.
Your Honor, no.
We honor.
We honor because usually
I-
you
every-
do.
Hang on. Let me get the attorney on speed dial.
yeah.
I have two.
I plead the fifth. But yeah, from time to time, yeah.
Yeah.
But not like the way these kids do.
Oh God, no.
These guys are going crazy. I'm like, Mickey's is an animal house.
Yeah.
I warned you. I warned you a long time ago.
Well, New Buffalo, we call it. It's like Nashville, like the Bachelorette. It's Bachelorette. Well, and so
Yeah,
if you
yes,
look,
yes.
so like Journeyman,
Yes.
Journeyman's amazing. Bill and
Oh.
Joanna, good friends of mine.
I love
Journeyman
that place.
is rated top 10 best wedding venues in the entire country by the Net magazine. Journeyman in Three Oaks, which is 4
Really?
blocks from 4 blocks from my house. Top 10 best wedding venues in the
That's a
country.
nice spot.
The Blackcurrant Bakehouse just down the road, one of my favorite places to go. I have a ritual like on the Sundays I go down. Top 10 best wedding cake makers. It is wedding central, that whole Harbor Country area. So there's the bachelorettes. You will only see more bachelorettes on Broadway in Nashville than you will in downtown New Buffalo.
So
shit you
but
not.
there's no place to go in New Buffalo for bars.
It's straight, not like it used to be, but it's straight up. They just go up and down. I mean, it's like literally, there were nights at Stray Dog where there would be, I shit you not, 10 to 15 different bachelorette parties in there at one time.
I can see that because I can see
and the bachelors,
yeah, I can see all that because of Beer Church and all the other things around. But I just can't see even Three Oaks.
Yeah, well, that whole area's become so family friendly.
You got Featherbone.
Yeah,
you got Featherbone and that one bar in Three Oaks.
But then
Nelson's. Well, that's fancy now too.
Is it fancy now?
Yeah, that's kind of.
Still have Michigan City. That's not too far from that.
That's 30 minutes. That's still about
20-minute
drive.
Still not.
But it's like the wedding mecca of it.
Yeah.
And those kids, you want to talk about getting wasted.
And now you got all those Airbnbs that they rent out for this time of the year.
I actually tried to build when I bought the lot next door to because I built my house and I bought the lot next door that had been vacant forever. Long story. And I was going to build a vacation rental, and they had just stopped issuing permits right before I broke ground. I shit you not. Like, we were ready to like.
But you didn't tell me who you were.
Well,
I'm Joey D.
Yeah, Joey D. There are houses on my street that were lucky enough to get a permit when you could, that are like 50s brick ranches that have been there forever. Like, I'm talking like a 50s brick ranch. They rent for $5,000 a week.
I believe it.
A week.
Wow.
Because there's nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
So all these huge weddings, and that's how I got the idea. My buddy Todd and Christina got married at Journeyman, and they're like, dude, there's nowhere for our guests. We have 200 people coming. There's no hotels, and I mean, there's a couple in New Buffalo by the casino. Well, not to mention, have you seen? I don't know if you smoke weed. It's not my thing. I don't judge you. I don't care. Have you seen the dispensaries in New Buffalo?
And there's like 4.
There are 32.
There's not 32 in just New Buffalo.
There are 38 licenses. I think. Google it right now. Google it right now. There's 32 licenses. There are 3 on Highway 12 a mile from my house. 3 within a 5.
So you're going from Three Oaks.
No, I just mean in New Buffalo in general. Exit 1. Yeah.
No way.
Google it.
30. I am gonna Google. That's high number.
32 licenses.
There's
32 licenses. Oh, I can believe licenses, but
they're building them though. It's every day there's a new one. And I'm not judging. I don't
get themselves ready.
I'm not
like he's gonna Google it for me.
How many dispensaries?
He's already beat you to it.
Yeah,
are in New
he's
Buffalo.
faster than me. Do that.
He knows.
Hey Siri.
Oh, now you're gonna ask Hey Siri. Don't make my phone light up.
King of Buds. There are.
Yeah, I know, but I have friends that live in New Buffalo all the time, and they said there's like 7 just on the.
There's right at exit 1.
Yeah, exit 1 and on Red Arrow.
You just wait.
It's unbelievable.
32 licenses.
I can believe that.
Unbelievable.
I can believe that though.
There's a lot more that's coming.
St. Joe will never have one.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
Or Lakeshore.
Eventually it will.
Or Lakeshore.
I think they will eventually.
I think they will. If you get someone on that city commissioner that smokes bud.
Smoking that bud. So it's crazy. So 420.
I'll convince one of my
420 weekend, which was the weekend for there were cars backed up on I-94, stopped in traffic for 420. You could not. I mean, if you've seen some of the aerial views, it's insane. Many other. The Refinery, Bloomery, Vibe, King of Buds, Herb, Pure Cannabis, Border Buds, Jars, Trap Stars, Rolling Embers, Mint Cannabis, Elevated Exotic, Cannabis Club Dispensary, Timber Cannabis, The Flower Bowl, High Profile, Giovanna, Zen Leaf.
You're the one I'm thinking.
Sign me up.
Yeah, there's 20 plus easily.
You know,
it's crazy.
We're still going to that party together. Though.
Yes, I know.
What party? What
we
party?
have a first live
second life. No, that'll be
remote remote thing that we have for a cannabis convention.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We got invited to it to do live remote for our podcast.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
I'm not very big on it.
I am.
Yeah. I'm not very big on it.
Give me that bag.
But it's $250 a ticket just to get in.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you get this
And
party.
you get a party bag and party.
You know,
favors
some
and
of
all
those
that.
places
So-
make $1 million a day.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes.
can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And
Yes.
and somebody told me this, and I think I know. Like the King of Buds guy, he's a character. He's actually a nice guy. He flies a biplane around with the King Buds banner all day, every day, Saturday. And do you know how much it costs to fly one of those?
Yeah.
Actually,
Getting
I
refueling.
never-
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
wondered.
The whole 9 yards.
I
Yeah,
always wondered how much it was.
it's like $1,000 an hour. Well,
that's chunk change because technically,
Yeah.
like you said, for even
and I
for
think
here,
it's like 5 or 6 companies that own all of them
Yeah.
somehow. And it's weird how they're kind of
Oh yeah. I can
Yeah.
believe that.
Well,
Totally.
The
Yeah.
one we're going to is from here all the way to Detroit area and some in
In between.
between.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure how many.
I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm
You want me to do the interviews?
no.
You want to do the interviews? I'll do
We
the
can do
filming.
that.
I'll do the filming.
No, we can both be in it.
We'll switch around.
We'll have a third person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
work
eat
that
some
out.
gummies and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The
he
whole
can.
9
I
yards.
still can't.
Little
I
dab.
still want
I know
Yeah.
you won't. I know you won't. But you can give me your bag if you don't want.
I'm keeping my.
Yeah, there you go.
bag. I'm keeping
What?
my fucking bag.
There you go.
I'm keeping my fucking bag. I know people that like shit.
Me?
No, I like people.
Yeah.
I like people
that's
that-
good. I like you.
That my bong.
I like people that know shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I do good bong songs. Yeah.
I know people that like shit, so I could sell it.
Okay, I got you. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
big
Nardo.
for the podcast, I think. And not only that, just to
It'd be our first live.
Your live
our
remote?
second live.
Yeah. Oh,
live
that's awesome.
remote.
Or no,
Or
our
second.
Because our
Yeah,
first live remote's gonna be our 30th.
Well, again,
our 100th.
you know, I say this all the time. I don't have kids. I, my douchebag dogs. But if I did, there's a lot of things. Like, would I rather my kids go out, get wasted, binge drunk, driving around, possibly kill, or would I rather them eat some gummies or smoke some weed and eat hot Cheetos and play PS4? Like, what are you gonna pick?
Wow.
I would much rather. You know
there's
what
a
I'm saying?
PS5 though.
Oh, 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
See, again, I don't have
We
kids,
know, I know what you're saying.
but you know what I'm
I know
saying.
what you're saying. You got to correct them, Jesus, Joe.
Not that I'm not saying that there's nothing, that marijuana can't. I don't.
Right, but I get what you're saying.
I
I
mean,
mean,
right.
Well,
drunk behind the wheel.
family's family. There's always some family members out there that do it. So
Well, and think about how many. I mean, we know people that have died from alcoholism. We know people
Yes.
that we grew up with that have died from
Oh, yeah.
alcoholism. I know. I can count on my. I can count 5 young kids that have died in drunk driving accidents in the
Yeah.
last 10 years. It's
the thing is, I do
What are you
too,
gonna
but
do?
I do-
What are you gonna do when
I do too, but I still got a DUI.
We can do when you drive
On the scooter?
No, that's why I'm renting a scooter.
Yeah. You gotta be careful.
It's
What are you
the
gonna do
state
when you-
that's fucking me now.
But what are you gonna do when you're riding high? Just gonna sit at a stop
Catch
sign
me
waiting to turn
riding
green?
dirty.
Yeah.
Catch me riding dirty.
Sit at a stop sign waiting to turn green? That's about it.
No, I'm not saying that you
Like
can
that
get
video.
super
Like
baked
that
and go
video.
drive a car.
Like
I
that
mean,
video that these it was a meme or whatever it is. It's a video of 2 people in the car, and she says, "I'm just waiting for the sign to turn. I'm just waiting for this thing to turn green."
And it's a stop
It's a
sign.
stop sign.
Sorry.
Now, should you be driving super high? Well, no.
No,
I still think
course.
they should.
Your Honor.
No. I mean, nowadays they make marijuana so much more potent.
Yeah. Well, now
It's
I mean
not
there
like the good old days where you could grow
Yeah,
it.
you
It's not
there
as
and there
potent.
are the
It's
days,
strong.
and there's a lot to be said of legalize it, regulate it, tax it. These kids are going out and buying street shit that's laced with fentanyl and
Smart. I think it was
Yeah.
smart if you legalize it and state it and national
the revenue
and
from
get
it.
the revenue. It's gonna break off that debt in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, if you do that, I mean,
God, it's gonna break
it
that
would.
debt.
It would cut
Yeah.
down the debt.
It'll cut down that debt and
Be like
fucking hard
tax it like you do cigarettes.
yeah,
Right.
If you do,
Exactly.
because that will get rid
again,
of
I'm a
cigarettes.
choir boy, so I'm not
Oh,
trying to be a
screw that.
prude.
Screw that.
It's
I
not
know-
my thing.
I'm sorry if you're going back to that. I know a lot of people that go out drinking
Of
and
course.
doing
we
everything
do.
else, and all of a sudden they say the 3 Hail Marys
Yep.
at church and go through
You
communion.
got to write a check. Get a
Yes.
check,
Yes,
and then you're absolved. Do whatever you want.
and you can do whatever you want.
That's
See?
that's the way. That's the way.
That's why I'm Catholic.
That's why you're Catholic. Do you?
It's awesome.
I was a little disappointed that it's
awesome
not real
idea.
wine in church anymore. They use grape juice.
I know.
Yeah. I was like, can we get a Napa Cab in here, or like a Willamette Pinot or something? Like, I'll bring it. I got a cellar.
You have a cellar?
Yeah. I love wine. I can't drink as much of it as I used to, but yeah, I got some. I'm a nap cab whore. Love it.
What's your oldest wine?
My oldest wine?
Yeah,
I could tell you.
Now I'm intrigued.
Let me pull up my cellar tracker app.
You have a cellar tracker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
God, I don't have that. I have
It shows you, so it's my cellar, and it shows you all your wines.
Do you have
there.
one at temperature?
Yeah. It's not like a giant one, but
true
I have a
story.
decent collection. So this is when I got this, I was like, dope. My my friend Catherine, I have a 2009 Messing Champagne de Mussy. Champagne de Mussy.
Do you really?
Yeah, but the drinking window has been gone.
So it's
you're only yeah.
Isn't the wines expire?
The white
Well,
wine.
they have drinking windows.
No,
yeah.
white wine expires.
Yeah, white wines you're not supposed to store.
That's
a
a
long
white
time,
wine, isn't it? Then
no, it's
red
a Pinot
does not
Noir.
expire.
They don't expire, but they have ideal drinking windows where
Yeah,
if you
but
hold it, as long as they're stored properly, they should be okay.
They should be fine.
Yeah.
I know red wine.
Yeah,
white wines you're supposed to drink right away because yes, but it all depends on what kind of fruit, where it's from, where it's raised, where it's grown, blah blah blah. Yes.
Yeah. No, I have a pretty decent collection. This is a funny story. I had a bunch of wine and I came home from New York and I was at my mom's house and I gave her a bunch of wines and a bunch of them were white wines, but they had been like cold and then warm and then cold. And sometimes wines can get screwed up like that. And then I went back to New York and then I came back after 9/11. It was like after I moved back. Well, and come to find out, she had been giving them as gifts to like neighbor, like house. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I opened one of them, just straight vinegar. Like they had all just. I'm like, Marilyn, these people are like, what the fuck are you? What is she giving us nasty shit?
I did that one time. Because I'm the guy that goes to had season tickets to Notre Dame. So I'm the guy that walks around with. I have a beer, a wine koozie. With my wine in my coat or in my backpack, and then from there I have one bottle I'm drinking out of, and have my wine glass. So people always say, "Hey, let me taste some wine." I said, "Yeah, let me get this one right here because you're not drinking this one." So I grabbed the one,
the cheap one.
Yeah, I grabbed this one here, and I usually have 2 or 3, but I have this one here, and all of a sudden I pour it, and they said it tastes like vinegar. I went, "Oh, let me look at this."
Oh, whoops.
Oh shit, this is the white one. My bad. It's been sitting around for a while. I had to bring this here. I said, "Here, pour some of this in there." And I poured it and I mixed it. And I said, "That tastes a little bit better." I said, "Yeah, you're just tasting mine."
Yeah, I actually do need to start drinking some of these. So I gotta find
some time to do it.
We're gonna bring them back on these and bring me some wine.
I'll bring you some wine.
Yeah, look at that.
You like white wine?
I like all wine.
Yeah, I got some killer wine. I'll bring a bottle.
Yes,
bring a bottle or two.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I like wine.
I have to bring the glasses too. I'm such a nerd. I have varietal specific glasses. So
really for just.
Yeah, have you ever?
Wines.
Yeah,
it's everyone's like, "Oh, you're such a wine snob." I'm like, "Well, I'm a trained sommelier. Like, it's what I've been in restaurants my whole life." But I will tell you, if you come to my house, I can take a bottle of water or purified water, and I'll pour it into 3 different glasses. And if you smell it and taste it, the water will smell, taste, and hit your mouth differently depending on the glass you're drinking from.
Really?
That the glasses are designed.
I'm just getting them into wines.
Yeah. So like you can't use an old world Burgundian Pinot Noir glass for a new world for a Willamette Pinot Noir. It's a different glass. It's like beer. It's like beer. You have your Belgian tulip glass and you have your
right.
They smell different. They taste differently. It's true.
Yes. It's like cognac. How about that?
Yeah.
You know cognac.
I do.
So you have different stiffer, smaller glasses, bigger glasses. Yeah.
What's your favorite cognac? Louis Trey.
I haven't had that yet.
Oh.
I haven't had that yet.
I haven't had Louis Trey in forever.
So in the clubs,
That's when I had money.
The gangsters and it's in a Baccarat crystal bottle, right?
Yes,
the bottle, yeah.
Yes.
I've yet to taste that one.
The
twice.
So when I did club service, so not just studio, but I worked at I worked at Spy Bar in Soho, and people come in and buy a bottle of Louis Trey for like
Spy Bar in Soho
in Manhattan, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So like the Yankees would come in, or like just like like whatever, music moguls and whatever,
right?
And they would buy a bottle of Louis Trey and they would dip their cigars in it. They wouldn't even drink it. They would just dip it.
Yeah.
They'd pay like $3.
Actually, that's only.
I don't even know how much that would be in today's money. Back then, it was like $2,000 or $3,000
Actually,
bottle.
I still do that with my cognac.
Right.
I'm smoking cigar.
Double or triple that.
Oh yeah.
If I'm smoking a cigar, I usually dip my end. Yeah.
I have some good cigars too. I don't smoke them, but I've got some good ones.
I love cigars.
Yeah.
I smoke cigar. I don't
I
smoke.
haven't had a good cigar yet. I have a cigar sitting on my desk at home, and
Nice.
I'm waiting to smoke that.
Did you put it in something yet?
No, that thing was soaked in some other stuff too. So
Then you need. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, wait a minute.
Actually, I went down the other day.
I don't think
It's
it was
sitting in my bar
cognac, though.
downstairs, and I looked at the humidor, and I was like, "Oh, you need some water."
say,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, they're all
say
dried
you-
out."
Actually,
they had cigars in
What?
Czars.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Czars.
Humidor. He said humidor.
Humidor. Where'd you get czars?
I don't know.
That's still in your brain.
Yeah.
Czars is still in your brain.
Oh, we
You
miss
said
it. We actually we truly miss it.
Yeah.
Those
This
were
is where
good.
this thing came from. This podcast. This podcast
Really?
came
That's
from-
the idea came from.
Really?
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
That was his dream, sitting back after closing hours and us just shooting the shit.
Good old Tom
with
Jennings.
with two other people.
He's still alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good,
So-
good,
He owns a
Love
sandbar
Tom.
now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
cousin.
Hunchback still alive.
I love Tom Jennings.
Quasimodo.
Yeah, he's
That's
he's,
fine.
Oh.
he's planning to run for city commissioner.
Oh. Okay. Nice.
I thought we were supposed to say.
He's planning.
My cousin Tim was part of Sandbar. Timmy.
Yeah.
Lamina, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Tim.
I love Tim.
So the funny thing is, the two since he said that, the two biggest names in the area are family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It
Well, and it's funny because they had
Yes.
So this is what's messed up. It's not really. It's
I don't
not
know
as
if you know
Kentucky as
this.
it sounds.
I
What?
don't
in
know
the-
if you knew this.
So my mom and her sister Millie married. My mom married my dad Izzy, and her sister Millie married her husband Izzy, who is my dad's first cousin. So two sisters married cousins. So Millie and Butch, we call him Butch. He's still alive. Millie passed away, God rest her soul, a while ago. But Millie and Butch's kids are my first cousins because they're my mom's sister's kids, but they're also my second cousins because they're my dad's cousins' kids.
Oh, shit.
So
Wait, listen.
I'm still
Yeah.
listening.
So Tim, Pooh, Anthony, all them, they're, and then you have the other Maminas. You have Jenna, Jenna Mamina, the
Yeah,
singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's in California right
Yep. Oh yeah, and she's kind of all over. I haven't seen her. I gotta text her.
now.
I miss her. And Mama Grace.
Her podcast starts at 11:11
11:11 every day.
Yeah.
I've been on that a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Actually, I'm trying to get her on when she's here.
Yeah.
Back in town when she's here.
She's
Okay.
incredible.
She's willing to come on when she's back home.
Yeah.
But we don't do live remotes back and forth. So she said, well, we can go on hers at 11:11.
Yeah.
when
She'll
she's
do hers
here.
remotely.
Yeah.
We did a lot during COVID. I was on a couple
Yeah.
times.
So
She's
besides
come in. Well,
Yeah,
she
so
does a lot.
his family is related to the Maminas.
Yeah,
So
we're
the
all
Maminas,
cousins.
we're all, and that's the second biggest family in the area besides the Centinels.
So then they had. So that was my mom, my nana, my dad's mom's sister, was married to the. So they had a restaurant called Mamina's
Yeah.
Burgers back in the
Yeah.
day in Benton Harbor, if you remember.
Best,
No,
yeah,
no.
best
Yeah,
place
best
to get a
burgers
burger.
ever,
Best
right?
place to get a
So I
burger.
grew up with DiMaggio's Maminas.
Actually, it's where the Chatterbox is at, isn't it?
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
grew up. Yeah.
Now, if he said he was related to Caposios, then then
So everybody thinks that we
so
Yeah. we're all
Brothers
related.
from the
Oh,
truth.
see,
We Italians, we're all related.
yeah,
somehow,
but the funny thing is they all came from Chicago.
Yeah.
So they all thought they all came over from the same
Yeah.
time
How brilliant. Yeah.
and take
How
over
original,
the
right?
area. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we all thought back in the day.
Chicago.
So
Yeah.
Since it's to get off subject and everything else, what we're talking about, more my family and everything else. We support you and everything else. My family coming alone from the Hill family.
Yeah.
We love your guys's and everything else. I just want to tell you that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
I
coming
always
on.
loved you guys. Of course.
My thing is now I want to get more question on you. You take care of and you support what is she? The one you were talking about earlier about in a wheelchair. I can't.
Oh, my niece Ruby.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
niece Ruby.
That's my sister's daughter. Yeah.
She has what?
Cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
I see it when she plays baseball. When
Oh,
I saw
yeah,
it
did you
on
see it?
your
Yeah, the
post,
other
on
day,
your
yeah.
post on the other day. That's awesome that you do that. This group came out it was a bunch of kids that have cerebral palsy and
Yeah, so that's it's the Southwest Michigan Miracle League, and they have
Yes,
them kind of all
listen,
over.
it's-
And my sister Amy Jo, who is incredible. She was really instrumental in helping get that one built in the Kalamazoo area. And what it is for people that don't know, and you can look at Southwest Michigan Miracle League, it's an opportunity for kids with special needs, with disabilities, or able, whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
to participate in a sport that gives them a normative childhood experience. We all grew up playing baseball and talk,
Yeah.
these kids.
Yeah.
Ruby is the sweetest thing ever. She's beautiful. She's quadriplegic. She's nonverbal. She is in a wheelchair. However, as much as we've always thought Ruby growing up, as much as you kind of do the poor me, you realize that there are kids that are have much more
yeah.
Yeah.
challenges. You have everything from kids that have genetic disorders. You have kids with Down syndrome. You have kids that are missing legs. The kids that are, they're paraplegic, quadriplegic. Just kids with severe abnormalities that wouldn't normally allow them. So it's, and I almost went, almost cry thinking about it. How, and when you're out there and
It's
you
deep,
see,
Yes.
and it's a place for all the families to come together too, and with their kids and their friends, like Ruby's, but her little best friend Kai Brienne, it has basically the exact same situation that
Yeah.
Ruby's in. And so what it allows them to do is play baseball. So if they can swing a bat, they'll go up and swing a bat. If they can't, they have like a bat on a thing with a trigger, and they just press a button,
First
or
one,
they'll,
yeah.
and if they can run, they'll run. If not, they're in a wheelchair. A lot of them are in wheelchairs. They'll have someone push them around the bases. So it gives
Jesus,
them,
awesome.
yeah,
feeling.
it's
I would-
awesome. It's incredible.
if I knew that would be happening, I would go see that in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a
Definitely,
heartbeat, because
definitely.
those kids are out there having a blast, time of their life, knowing who they are and what they're doing, and they're grinning. It doesn't matter if they make it home. It doesn't matter if they hit the ball.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
No, we don't
anything
keep
in their lives.
score.
They don't keep
Yeah.
score.
Just being a
They're just
participant
being
of the
there
sport.
in life in general, knowing
Right.
they're having fun.
And and so much of that too, and when and we as a family, and
Yes.
Ruby actually brought us as a family closer together in a lot of ways. And they say God doesn't give you special kids unless you can handle them, or maybe that's the lesson you need to learn, or whatever, however you want to look at that. But Ruby was born dead, and she was intubated and brought back to life.
Really?
And she had severe hypoxia, brainage, which damaged all of her motor function. She's really smart, and she's cognitively amazing, but she just can't verbalize.
Right.
So it's frustrating for her. But she spent the first couple months of her life in the NICU, and the neonatal intensive care unit, and they told us all these things that she was gonna, so the fact that she is alive is a miracle. The fact that, and they were like, oh,
So
she's
they
not gonna
pretty
live.
much wrote her off.
Oh, 100% from
Yeah.
day one. So the fact that she's still alive and she's thriving, she's
How
doing
old?
great. She's gonna be 17. I mean,
See, look at that.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
she'll be 18 soon. Before you know it,
That is deep.
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
It's crazy. And in some of the kids that play, and the thing is, what's most challenging, and it's the parents, because, and my sister, rightfully so, I can't speak for her, but I know that she kind of felt robbed of her child. This was her first child, and you think, well, they're never going to do this. They're never going to get married. It's like if somebody dies, if a child dies, or your mom or dad dies, they're never going to walk me down. It's those milestones in life.
Yes.
It's those things that give us our collective experience of what life is supposed to be. So for these families and these parents to say, my kid gets to play baseball.
Yeah.
Just to say, my kid's got a baseball game today. That's huge for them. That's
Definitely.
empowering. It's a
Yes.
different type of
I
baseball.
totally agree.
It's on a different level, but it's still, my kid gets to go play a sport. And the coolest thing is all the volunteers. Of course, there's tons of volunteers and sponsors, but the boys from like Western and K College, the baseball team,
Yeah.
they come down every Saturday. They help coach. They help walk them
Well, that's
around. They're their
cool.
buddies, and yeah, it's awesome.
Scroll down.
It's I was
Yeah.
super honored. I got to sing the national anthem last time I was there, which was awesome.
Oh,
And
that's really
It is.
and you're just out there and you're watching these kids just have the time of their life, and it's
I wanted
beautiful.
I wanted to bring up because it is, like you just said right
Yeah.
there. It's beautiful. It's sentimental. These kids need to know that they are respected and they are cherished and they are everything in life, because they are still a human being. It doesn't
Right.
matter if they're in
That's
a
cool. That's
wheelchair.
really cool,
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they are.
Right.
They're here to have fun and
You
live
get to play
life,
baseball,
and
you get to do
live
this,
life.
you get to
Yes.
go, they have, events, and it's strangely
Humble.
It's
humble.
very humbling. It's very humbling, and it reminds you, and especially me, who I'm the first one to admit I can be super materialistic. I can be focused on my shit. When you
Really?
shocking, I know, with me with my 17 carats of diamond. It's shocking, but when you're there and you see that, you're like, you know what? Nothing else matters. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Nobody cares what car you drive. Nobody cares. This is what it's about, right? And for our family, I think that was very important that we realized this is what it's about.
Yeah.
Family, it's about, you know,
Yes.
and Ruby is the center of our world. So my mom is up with Amy during the week and takes care of her. And my mom comes and stays with me on the weekends. I actually built her own little bedroom in my house, and she's got her own little area and her own bathroom. And while I was building my house, it just kind of worked because we didn't think that Ruby was going to live, or we didn't know how long. So my mom got rid of everything, quit her, moved up, and
still awesome that she's still kicking and she's still
yeah,
17,
she's great.
17
And
years
Marilyn,
now.
she is a saint. I mean, she's there. And Ruby, I mean, she has her other care. She's got all these cute girls, and she's got caregivers, and because medically she's fine. Otherwise, I mean, she's But some of these kids medically are not.
Yeah.
You know, they've got
But
IVs
for that shindig and everything else,
Yeah,
I wanted
it's
to bring that
incredible.
up on
No,
this-
I'm glad
on
you
this
did. That's
segment because that's
yeah.
deep for me. Because yes, I think I hate to say this, I was a bully in high school, but when it came to me and my friends and everything else that I knew, I protected because I was in special ed. So every kid that was in special ed, they were picking on. I went, don't pick on him because he's in the same class as me. And then all my friends look at me, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I might be in sports. I might be in all these things with you guys, but these guys are in my class. Don't pick on these guys because they're better than you ever will be because who they are. So you can't pick on somebody can't judge a book by its cover because these guys are phenomenal. Doesn't matter if they're in a wheelchair, what they are, and who they are.
Right.
They're the best people to have in your life because they're the ones that are going to be most loyal to you.
Yeah, and they love the most, and they don't judge.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, it's
I don't judge a book by its cover anymore.
No.
I've done that I've done that a couple times.
We all have.
I've done that with a couple people, and I apologize because when I worked Venetian. It's always an awesome
story. Do they do Venetian anymore? Or no, I didn't think so.
When I worked Venetian, I had this crew that was all trench coat mafia type looking people, and all trench coats and all dark clothing in the fucking middle of summer in July. And I'm thinking, dude, aren't
goth
you hot?
bastard,
yeah, pretty much goth. And
white leather boots.
Yes, high boots up to their knees. But I looked at them, I said, thank you. You guys made me even better for who I am. I'm never going to judge anybody that I see like this right now. You guys made me look in a whole new eye on how you guys dress, who you guys are.
I think it's a part of the human nature to do that, be able to sit back and I don't know, maybe judge somebody for what they see. I mean,
it's how you're raised.
As humans, we're visual people. We like to see what we see is what we get, right?
Yeah.
Until we find out who we are.
I also think there's a saying in politics that goes, every accusation is a confession. Right. And if you think about it, like not to get into politics,
I like how you said that.
But when somebody, it's a projection. If somebody says, oh, you're this, well, guess what? That's probably what you are. And that's probably how you see yourself, and you're projecting it on them. Yeah. Otherwise it wouldn't bother you. Right.
Right.
Do you get that a lot when people project on you and how you are and everything else?
I mean, truthfully, I get judged a lot. People look at me and they think certain things about me that aren't true.
But
and
why?
I don't know. I mean, just how I think the biggest thing with me is people see, and they're like, oh, well, I never, you're too good. Well, for example, so I'm a financial advisor now, right? I'm working in finance, and I've literally had people say to me, well, I thought about calling you, but I just assumed you wouldn't talk to unless I had all this money. I'm like, why would you assume that? And they're like, well, I look at you and your lifestyle. I'm like, no, I mean, I hope you don't think that about me. Like, just because I you know what I'm saying? Or I'll have people say to me, oh, I didn't know that I never really knew you, but I didn't know that you were nice, or I didn't know that you were, or that you did all this volunteer. I'm like, what did you think of me? Well, yeah, because you have your social media, I'm pretty selective of, like, my stories are one thing that, I'll put in my stories, but if I hard post something, I'm pretty selective about it because I don't want it, I also I asked, my life isn't that exciting, quite frankly. But no, I've had people say to me, "Oh, well, I just thought that you were like this, stuck up, uppity, person, and but nothing." I'm like, no, I have fun. Like, hey, and I think that part of me personally, part of my thing is I just want to help people because it is not lost on me that I am very, very grateful and I'm very blessed and I'm very fortunate in so many ways. And people say to me, like, I was hosting and emceeing the Michigan Humane Society fundraiser yesterday, and I'm doing another, people are like, how do you do that? And you do this and you do that. When do you sleep? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like, and I'm different because I don't have a family. I don't have a partner or significant other or kids right now that
Doesn't
I really,
matter.
but to me, as much as I can, like, I'm in that era of my life, I want to give back because I realize and I understand how fortunate I am. And to me, giving makes me happy. I have everything in the world that I could ever want. There's nothing in the world that I need that I don't have or that I can't buy. And I'm quite frankly that those days of my life are kind of over. Like, I mean, I still like to shop here and there, but it gets excessive. It gets to a point you're like,
Right,
how
right.
many pairs of shoes
You-
can I own?
Well, you
Yeah.
need more rings.
I do need more rings. I need more diamonds. No.
How
How many carats of diamonds can I wear? How much? What
But you're Italian, so you.
I know.
You
Dude, did you see the picture I posted of my the bocce ball league? Did you see the bocce ball league with our tracksuits? Did you see that picture?
A while ago, yeah.
Oh my god! Even I looked in the mirror and was like, "Oh my god, I could not be any more Goomba." I gotta find this picture.
You're gonna do it?
I gotta find.
I was gonna say I can do it for you.
So, oh yeah. So
he did. He wore a tracksuit.
So we had
Total tracksuit.
these cool guys
Already
from.
picked that up.
Yes. No, but it was matching tracksuit and the shoes and
We were in a.
Yes.
I was in a bocce ball league. How
See,
cool is that?
I love. I didn't
Bocce
know
balls
there
are
was.
so much
I
fun.
didn't know there was a bocce ball league.
Yeah.
Watermark's doing one. Now.
The same guys, Jeremy. Yep.
Oh,
Jeremy and
same-
Nicolette. It's the same people. Yep. They're doing it Watermark on Tuesdays.
Yeah, because
Yep.
I want to do I love bocce balls.
I've never played it.
Yeah,
But
never
We
but
had
we have
the
guys
Do
come
you
in.
know what
best.
bocce ball
Yeah,
is?
yeah. We have guys come in on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, that's when they do the bocce ball league.
They come in the sandbar
After
the bocce ball.
Yeah. We had the best time.
And
then
I looked it up.
I
Now,
love bocce ball. All you do is get closer to the ball.
we did. Yeah. It's like shuffleboard for Italians.
Yeah.
We
That's for Italian.
we did.
Damn, is it?
Look at that. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yes,
could
I've
I?
seen it. Yes.
Did the cast of Sopranos literally call and be like,
He's a cast of Sopranos.
we were howling. So that was my
Good
friend,
Joey.
my friend Fran from the yacht club. She and she's like, we're gonna do the bocce. I'm like, yeah. And we actually did it at the yacht club last week, a week or two ago.
Really?
Yeah. So we like moved all the tables out, and Jeremy and Nicolette came. We had the best time. It was so much.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love bocce.
you get a team.
Yeah.
Then.
You want to do it?
I'll give it a shot.
You should.
What do you
It's
mean you give it a
fun. It's
shot?
super
I've
fun.
never played it.
You never? Oh,
Never
dude.
played it.
We're
Like
not,
I said,
we're
give
not
it a
coming
shot.
in last.
I don't
Yeah,
play
you
to
might
be in
practice a
last.
little bit.
We're not coming in last.
I'm very
Yeah.
competitive.
I am too.
Yeah.
All right. We need a third though. You always need a third.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
3, or you can do 4. You
Yeah.
can do 4 and 4, 4 and 4, 2
Yeah.
and 2.
Yeah.
You need a third at least. We can do 3 and 3.
Huh. I'm looking forward to it. Jay.
All right.
Let's get it together.
Good
All
times.
right. I'll get it together. Yes.
Good times.
Let's get one for next year.
Oh,
Good
why,
times.
why next year?
Is it this season or what?
We can always join on. You were
Is it all season long?
Tuesday though.
I can make some adjustments.
All right.
Dude.
All right. We can do a practice on Tuesday. How's that?
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
let
make
you-
some
let-
adjustments.
This year is your practice year.
Tell Jeremy and Nicolette that I said hi.
I will.
The bocce people.
Yes.
They're the coolest people. Super nice.
I didn't know they did the same one. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Harbor Country Bocce Ball.
Now I want to talk about your. We talked about this before we started the podcast.
Oh, you-
Your TV.
Oh, the show?
The show,
Joey
yeah.
D's Kitchen?
Yeah, yeah, I wanna talk about
It's
that.
fun. That's
You should
super
watch
fun.
it.
I want to check that. Yeah.
I know.
So
He tells he gives recipes out from.
Oh no.
DiMaggio.
I do. Yeah, a little twist. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Give us a little bit about that.
Hey, how do you? I'm like, if I tell you, I'm going to kill you.
That's
So the crazy way that came to be, I years ago I was at Stray Dog. This is probably like, I don't know, 17, 18 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe 16. Yeah. This guy came in who I know. His name's Jack Olesker. He's a friend of mine. He invented the Care Bears and the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles.
oh really?
Yeah. Seriously, yeah. Yeah, he lives in Long Beach, down by me. So he was out in California forever. So he blah, blah, blah. He comes in one day with this guy, Angel Hernandez. And I'm just talking to him, and Angel says, "Hey, you seem like you'd be good on TV." I said, "Well, I was a child actor and I did, a lot of theater growing up, and I went to a Broadway training." And blah, blah. He's like, yeah. He's like, "Would you be interested?" He goes, "I'm the president of PBS, the WNNT." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." He's like, "Yeah, why don't you come on and do it? We'd love to have you." He's, "I'll have my producers reach out to you." I said, "Okay." So they reached out to me, and there was a show called Open Studio, and it was this like hosted like show, and they'd have these guests on. So I went on as the restaurant guy, So I'd made like drinks, and I'd like talk about food. Yeah.
Go figure. You're gonna be the restaurant.
Shocking. Yeah, I know. Shocker. And so we did that, and then I ended up being like a co-host for the show. I would be like fill in as a host, like here and there. And then there was a show called Experience Michiana with Gordy Young. Do you know who Gordy Young is?
Yes.
Gordy Young? Gordy Young hosted that for a while, PBS, which was fun. So I would go on there with him. And then there was a show called Dinner and a Book, which is still on with Gail Martin, who is one of the loveliest women you'll ever meet. She's super cool. She's like a living legend. I don't know. Nobody knows how old she is. It's one of those things. Nobody knows. So I would go on, and this was when I had moved back from New York. In any big city, especially New York, you walk 10 miles. I mean, I walked everywhere, and I was super active. Well, I moved back to the area, and I just kind of got sedentary and drove everywhere, and I never walked anywhere. And so I started gaining weight. And turns out I had all these thyroid issues, which I really didn't realize until later. So I packed on like 100 pounds. So I was literally 100 pounds heavier than I am right now, which is crazy.
Picture that.
So I'll find a picture. So there's always a picture. So they had asked me, they said, "Hey, would you like to do a show called Dinner and a Book?" And I said, "Yeah, what's that?" And they're like, "Well, it's like dinner and a movie, but it's dinner and a book, where we pick a book and we read it."
Dinner and movie.
It's like dinner and a movie, dinner and a book. Oh, duh. Okay. Ask a stupid question. And we read a book, and then we make food that corresponds to the book. Either they talk about the food in the book, or it's something like that. So it's with Gail Martin, who's the host, and she has these co-hosts on. So I started doing that. It was great, a lot of fun. And then, here's a good one. Look at that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Chunk.
All right.
That's
He says chunk.
chunk. That was
Holy
that
crap.
was me and Izzy D. Look at that. That was 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
You look
literally
great, man.
literally 100 pounds heavier than I am right now.
No, seriously, look
That
great,
crazy.
man.
Thanks, man.
I grew up with this guy.
So I would go on these shows and do these things, and I was always sick. I always had health issues, and I would get bronchitis. I was always sick. And I went to the doctor, and she's like, "Dude, my triglycerides were like 495."
Seriously?
Yeah. My blood pressure, my cholesterol was like, it was like borderline. She's like, "You're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna have a heart attack." And heart disease runs rampant in my family. We're Sicilian. We got sausage and meatballs running through our veins. We got sugar running through our veins, for God's sakes, right? So you eat sausage and peppers for breakfast, right? So
bonus,
right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
Always have the red wine before you go to.
Oh yeah. And bread and butter and yeah. There's a salad. Oh, there's salad soaked in dressing with pepperoni and ham and mozzarella in it.
Oh.
So
He said mozzarella.
So I like, okay, great. I'm gonna have a heart attack. What am I gonna do? So, and I had always struggled with weight as a kid. I did. Marilyn will deny this till the day she dies, but she used to pay me to lose weight. I used to get bribed. She'd take me to the diet center in town.
That big when you're.
I was kind of chunky.
That
I took Fen-Phen. I was one of the first people that took Fen-Phen before they banned it. True story. So I was at home one night on Facebook, and do you know the Gormans? You know Brad Gorman, the Gorman family? Yeah.
Actually, he's coming on in a couple months.
He's one of the coolest dudes you've ever, like, super fascinating too. I mean, he's a great Brad, Ted, all of them.
They're
incredibly talented family.
I think they're bringing. I think him and his other is coming on.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a great. I mean, he's an author. Yeah,
I don't think they want to come on. I don't think Brad wants to come by himself.
Yeah. Come on, Brad.
Gorman.
Come on, Brad. So Brad had actually posted something. He had seen this documentary called Forks Over Knives, and it was all about a plant-based diet, and it was with cardiologists and these heart specialists. And so I watched it, and it's about people reversing heart disease with a plant-based diet. and watching their cholesterol literally reverse, and how you can, it's not genetics, it's just that your family all eats the same crap. And I was like, oh, that can't be true.
But that crap,
But
how long?
it is.
So
But
good.
it
That,
is.
but that crap made them to live so long already in their 90s.
Yeah, and well, and and there's a lot of there's a chemical part of it.
Food
So
always changes over the course of the year.
it does. Right.
But
That's
if
like gluten. Well, nobody was
preservatives-
gluten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the gluten, it's the glyphosate. It's the shit they're spraying on the crop
Hold your
and all that
mom.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hold your mom.
My mom is 75.
See, look at that.
Yeah, Marilyn. And
yeah.
Izzy's 79. He because
Yeah, there you
we're 30 years apart, so I'll be 49 this year.
go.
Yeah.
Attention your partner. So,
Yeah.
so I mean, your family's still young but
Yeah. And I mean, both my grandma, my nana lived to be in her
Yeah,
80s, 88,
what I'm
89.
saying.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
look at the food they ate.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It kind of does. though.
Doesn't matter if you eat meatballs in your lungs and
Food changes. like we
Meatballs
just-
in your
yeah,
lungs.
Food changes, and the stuff that goes in the food now.
Yeah, and it
changes.
is. I mean, it's not.
I know. I know
Food
what
isn't
you're
what it
saying.
used to be 50
No,
years
not,
ago.
not at all.
Yeah.
Is that why you became a vegan?
Yeah. So I watched the documentary and I was like, okay, I had tried everything. I had tried every diet, every pill, every gimmick, everything. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this and just see what happens. And I was secretly praying that it wouldn't work because I love to eat. I would eat steaks like raw. We'd go to Toastie's and they'd let me pick out my steak. And
how do you get to pick out your own steak? Wait a minute.
Dude.
Hold up. Don't say
Yeah.
do you know why
How's
there's a
that?
chain around the fountain outside of Toastie's?
Yes.
Because of me. Because I fell in it when I was a baby and almost drowned.
So you get to pick out your steaks.
Yeah, yeah. And I would literally tell them, walk it through a warm room. Like we'd go to Skips, Skips prime rib.
Yes.
And I would eat everyone's prime rib fat that they didn't eat. So no wonder I was the biggest carnivore you could imagine.
Yeah.
The biggest. So I'm like, okay.
Can you still do that when you go to Toastie's?
Can I?
Yeah.
Maybe. But I don't eat steak anymore, so.
Can I pick out mine?
Tell Dan to let you pick out a steak.
Oh,
Right.
Dan's coming on.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah. Tell Dan.
Dan already said he's coming on.
I also used to sit up in the cigar room with Izzy and Vince and the kids when I was like 5. So yeah. So anyway,
I'm using you.
yeah, do it. See how that works out for you.
Oh, that's
tell
going
Amy.
well.
So you're picking out your own steaks.
So I watched this documentary and I decide I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
I literally went up to my refrigerator. I threw everything away. This is 2012.
Everything.
Wow.
I threw everything away. I went cold turkey. Now I'm like, okay, now what am I going to eat?
Wait, is that healthy for you to be quit cold turkey?
I don't fucking know. I tried.
Okay.
I was about to figure out.
Sometimes you have to do that.
I was about to figure it out.
I did that with cigarettes.
Yeah.
Well, cigarettes is different than
Drinking, they say no.
No,
You can
drink- yeah.
you can die from stopping
'cause
drinking.
Even with quitting soda, your
body goes into shock.
It goes shock. But with food, does your body go into shock with food?
So it was the most bizarre thing. So it's not like it is today. Like you could go to Burger King right now and get an Impossible Whopper. You can eat vegan food at fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere in the world. They've got shit like that everywhere, right? And any grocery store, they've got a ton of vegan meats and cheese. It was not like that. I drove my ass to the Apple Valley Farm in Berrien Springs because they're Seventh Day. They don't eat meat.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I was like, okay, meatless products. And I got to tell you, it was the most disgusting shit ever. It was like meat in a can and like these things. And it was like, and they didn't really have the dairy. I will tell you, the meat I thought was going to be the hardest thing. It's the cheese. You know how they say, like, I'm addicted. People are like, I'm addicted to cheese. Do you know that you literally are? The casein protein in dairy is physically addictive. In lab rats, it does the exact same to the brain that cocaine does.
Wow.
It's a true story.
Wow.
People are like, oh, I could never give up cheese. I'm addicted. That's a true thing. So I went cold turkey and I just started experimenting and everything I made was disgusting. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this. And again, I was praying it wouldn't work. I'm like, please God.
So you didn't quit cocaine?
Yeah, right. I quit cocaine years after Studio 54. Yeah. People are like, did you do drugs at New York? I'm like, I reopened Studio 54 in the 90s. What do you think we were doing?
And
You think those are pixie sticks?
And you wonder, James, why I do Studio 54?
Listen, the fact that I'm alive at all is a miracle. Thank God every day. So I know we didn't get into Studio 54. So
No, it's okay.
Oh, I
going.
got some good ones.
We'll bring you back up.
Yeah, I'll tell those stories. So anyway, so I went cold turkey, and about a week into it, I looked in the mirror and I looked, my allergies like started to go away. My face just started to look different. And a couple weeks into it, like a month into it, I was just dropping weight. And I could breathe. It was like I could breathe again. It was like I like literally like an elephant had been sitting on my chest. And now I was like,
Whole new feeling.
and I was like, so this is the answer for me. Okay. All right. I'm like, well, we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. And as I went on, I went to all my levels started coming down. I got off all the medications I was taking, the blood, everything. My thyroid started to level out and even out. And then turns out I'm severely lactose intolerant because I told Marilyn one day, I said, hey, Marilyn, I accidentally ate some butter the other day and I got super sick. And she goes, oh, yeah, when you were a kid, you'd eat ice cream and your stomach would hurt and you'd eat pizza. I'm like, really, Mom? Really? She's like, well, you just loved it. So, but it's like anything else. If you eat enough, you build up a tolerance, right?
Right.
The thing is, his family's true Italian.
So, yeah.
And you're lactose intolerant.
So literally everything
Yeah.
So then I had to get creative. I'm like, okay, I'm a chef. I come from a chef background. I've, worked in kitchens and, my whole life. So then when I would go on Dinner and a Book, they would ask me and I'm like, hey guys, just so you know, I went plant-based. Like, no, that's cool. Make something plant-based. So when I would go on, then everybody loved it. Everyone in the studio, they would get all these responses. So then on Dinner and a Book, I would do the plant-based version twist. And then I kind of was telling you earlier. So at one point, Brenda, who's brilliant, Brenda Bauer, she's one of the most brilliant producers, and Tim Hyatt, Brenda said to me, she goes, hey, I've got an idea. While they're doing Dinner and a Book in the studio, we're going to do a spotlight segment. I'm going to come to your house and you're going to do a plant-based version of whatever they're making in the studio that corresponds to the book so that we can show you that you can enjoy this food, but with a plant-based twist. And I was like, that's brilliant. Okay. She goes, it's just going to be a short little spotlight segment. I'm like, you're coming to my house? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. My kitchen's going to be on TV. I'm like, okay, I better make sure it's clean. So we started doing that. So like they would be in Dinner and a Book and they'd be making like shepherd's pie. And then they would say, hang on, we're going to cut to commercial, but we're going to spotlight to Joey D in his kitchen. And he's going to show you a plant-based vegan version of shepherd's pie. You can make blah, blah. So then I would make the vegan version.
That's smart.
Brenda, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
So then one day she said to me, she goes, hey, I want to expound on that spotlight segment there. And I want to do like 3 at a time. And I was like, cool. She's like, so let's do this and that. Let's do like a dessert, a thing and that. And she kind of gave me some ideas. I'm like, great. I ran with it. She'd come to my house. We'd film 3 little spotlight segments. I'd change my shirt in between, change my clothes, like change my hair, whatever. Super cool. We did like 2 or 3 of those. And then I said, hey, Brenda, what do you want to do for the next one? And she goes, well, whatever you want to do. And I said, no, I mean, you tell me because it's for Dinner and a Book. And she goes, no, these aren't for Dinner and a Book. I go, what? She goes, this is your show. I was like, wait, what? She goes, no, this is your show. We're going to call it Joey D's Kitchen. We're doing all the promo. We're filming. I was like, she goes, you didn't know that? I'm like, no, I thought we were just doing a bunch of spotlight segments to have in the bank for Dinner and a Book. And I was kind of impressed that you were that far ahead with Dinner and a Book. She goes, no, this is your own show. I was like, oh.
So you had no clue?
I had no clue.
Your own show?
No.
Wow.
So I have my own little show on PBS called Joey D's Kitchen. So they come to and then I remodeled my kitchen like in the middle of it. So my kitchen is the same, but it looks different. It's just remodeled. And yeah.
Looks big.
Yeah, we did some stuff.
Find it on like like YouTube or anything?
Yeah, it's the website's Joey D's Kitchen. It's on PBS, YouTube, Facebook. So every Wednesday they launch it on social media at like 10 a.m. But then they use it as filler. This is the funny thing. And mind you, I've been doing shows on PBS for years, so I don't really know if they ever replay stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
So I will have somebody the other day. They were like, "I woke up, turned on the TV, and you were on TV." Oh my god! I'm like, "I was." They're like, "How'd you not know?" I'm like, "I don't know. They just reshow." So
it's okay. He doesn't watch our shows either.
Come on.
No, I watch.
He doesn't.
Very few.
What?
I watch.
Yeah.
I watch them because I like to see how people react to.
Yeah, for sure.
I watch it and everything else.
It's tough watching yourself on television. I will tell
I
you.
have that problem.
I will tell you. It's a little jarring.
Is that really your problem?
I think that is my problem.
That you can't watch yourself again.
Just listen to myself talk.
Yeah. Well, we always hate our own voices.
Yeah,
I think Adele hates her own voice. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate listening to my own voice.
Yeah, most people do.
Oh, I don't.
Of course, makes sense.
Who's the narcissist now, Joe?
Yes.
Joey D.
Me, this guy.
See ya.
Yeah,
See,
so
he only knows this. He does his own.
yeah, no, so that's the way that, and so it's funny, and it's funny because I saw a meme once that said you can tell a lot about person how they know Tim Curry from what movie, right? Like, do you know
Yes.
him as Frankenfurter? Do you know him from Clue? Like, where?
Yeah.
So I can tell a lot about a person. Like, people like, hey, one day this girl goes, she goes, my husband said he was watching PBS, and so I go, why was your husband watching PBS? She goes, there's some fishing show that he likes on in the morning.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense because he's like a good old boy, like good old fisherman boy, which is funny. But yeah, no, so the show's super cool, and the whole concept of the show is it's a plant-based twist on your favorites.
Favorite foods, yeah.
So it's stuff that people actually want to eat. And that was the point. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, you're vegan, like a vegan recipe. It's like, oh, you're gonna go pick this amaranth grain from the Himalayas that you can only find with the, it's picked by an angel and the moon dusk and the fourth moon of Scorpio. And it's like, no, bitch, these are like, it's like Daya cheese or whatever. Like, no, you could just swap the ingredients and make plant-based stuff.
It's a healthier option.
Correct.
Right,
And
right.
it's what and the biggest thing, which kind of is really moving to me, is it's the moms that say, I just found out I'm breastfeeding, my kid has a dairy allergy and I
Yeah.
don't know what to eat. Here's a cool recipe. Hey, we're trying to do a meatless Monday. We're just trying to cut back a little bit.
Right.
Hey, my husband, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, hey, I want to make something that my family will actually eat, that they're actually going to like, right? It's not like
cool
grains and, I mean, there's some of that. We do some healthier, but it's fun and it's easy. It's approachable. The recipes are simple. It's something anybody can do. There's these short little spotlight segments and it's really cool.
Now I have to take a peek at
Joey
that
D's
and
Kitchen.
check it out.
Yeah. It's
Check it
called
out.
Joey D's Kitchen, actually.
All right, guys. We're at the end of this podcast.
Oh, how did it get so late?
2 hours went by so fast.
Oh my gosh. Because I talk a lot.
This is
It's
this is one of my favorites. Joey, you
Yeah? Come on.
You're
You're just saying that.
You had lots to talk about. I love
You're
it.
just saying. I've had a crazy life.
I've loved every
That's not
story
even
you
half
told.
of it.
That's not enough.
That's awesome, man.
And I'm not even that old. How can that be?
No, yeah, you're younger than I am.
know.
You had a great
Barely.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely.
Like 6
Yeah.
years behind me.
And the funny thing is, it's
No.
always the younger ones that have a great life than us.
Well, Joey paved his own way.
Yeah.
He did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I just have no fear.
That's the way you should be.
Yeah, I should have died a million times. So it's a miracle that I'm alive at all.
You and me both.
No.
I'm glad you're here, though.
Well, thank you. Me too.
Well,
Appreciate it.
I ain't going
keep on
anywhere.
going.
All right, guys. We're gonna close this out.
Thank you for having me. This has
Hey,
been
no
awesome.
problem at all.
Super fun.
We're not done yet, Joey.
Oh,
We're gonna do a final thoughts. You give
Oh.
shout outs to whoever you want, or what's up and coming for you in the future events.
oh,
It's your final thought. It's like a Jerry Springer.
oh, final thought.
Almost
Very
like-
exciting for me. We are actually opening an office for me. I work with a company called Airy Financial now, which is founded by my good friends Tony and Janae Airy. Their son-in-law Jeff, their daughter Kirsten. They've been dear friends of mine for 20 plus years, and it just happened. The universe, God, Spirit came together, and I'm now working with them. And we are opening an Airy Financial New Buffalo office, which will be their 13th office. So I will have my very own office right downtown, right on West Buffalo Street in New Buffalo,
There you go.
starting June 1st. So I'm super excited about that. I get to bring all of my years of hospitality and restaurant business and all of that discipline and all of that drive and
Back home.
direct it toward a different route and help people in a different way. So I'm super glad. I'm super stoked about
Man
that.
of many hats.
Well,
That is awesome.
I make finance exciting. I make
I
it
love it. I
exciting.
love
I get jazzed about it. So.
Can't tell.
I know. I did. I retired from the restaurant business officially last year after.
There's no retirement.
No, I know.
Sorry.
No, I know. Oh,
You
yeah.
hooked it. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
some claws in it
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Joe, go ahead.
All right. Joey, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thanks for having
It's
me.
always a pleasure talking to you. If it's not behind this right here, it's always pleasant to see
Yeah, I
you
don't get
again.
to see you enough.
I know, because you were always traveling, or you always in
Yeah.
New York and everything
I was
else.
all over the place. Yeah.
But thank you for coming on. And you're many of hats that you've worn in your life. You keep on going with it. You keep on driving your drive.
Yeah.
And living your life how you want to do it. It's your road and your road only. You keep on living that road. And please, spay and neuter your pets.
Please spay and neuter your pet.
Joe himself has been spayed and neutered.
I've been spayed and neutered. It's court documented.
Court ordered?
Court
Can't be
documented.
spayed and neutered.
I said that in front of a judge, and he said, "You've been what?" I went. I said, "I've been spayed and neutered," and the recorder kept on typing it.
Yeah, you
So,
can't.
That's hilarious.
It's court documented. I can
No
say
more
it.
Joe Juniors.
No. I only had one daughter. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have any kids that I know of.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
I'm gonna say I appreciate you coming on. I didn't know what to
Pleasure.
expect, but Joe is spoken highly of you. But I'm so glad you
I'm a lot.
awesome.
Yeah.
you graced us with your presence
Please
on our
come
show.
back.
I appreciate you.
I'd love
Please.
to come back on. No, this is fun.
Appreciate you.
This is
It's
fun.
been so much fun to just listen to
Oh
your
my gosh,
stories.
it's my pleasure. Thank
and
you. It's all true. All true.
I'm sure you have more.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you have more.
We haven't hit.
Does this show have a rating?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
We haven't got flagged for it.
Yeah, we haven't got flat.
Let me next time. Let me tell you my Janine Garofalo, Jimmy Fallon Studio 54 story.
Oh,
All right.
snap.
We haven't asked him how many famous people. We haven't asked him how many
That's
famous
next,
people he
next
met.
time he comes on, guys.
Oh,
You guys
there's-
tune
yeah.
in.
Have you ever asked Scooter how many famous people he's slept with?
Uh-oh.
My bro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't asked Good if you want to come on yet. I didn't think he would love to.
How many people has he slept with? Yes.
No, I'm just thinking about Scooter.
I love it.
Scooter's awesome.
Scooter's awesome.
Scooter's awesome.
No, we're fortunate. I love my fam, love my bro,
Yeah.
love my sis. Mom and Dad.
Well, I
They're
love
good
that
people.
you came on the show.
Thank you so much
I
for having
appreciate
me.
you.
I
All right,
appreciate it.
guys, we
I love
are
it.
tuning out. This is episode 88.
88.
Third Eye Truth and Podcast.
Ochente Ocho.
Yes, sir. I am James Gill, your host. This is Joe Hill, my co-host, and our special guest, Joey DiMaggio. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We love you guys so much for tuning in and joining us every week. Join us Wednesday at 8 p.m. Nardo's Pizza's coming back again. Second episode. Second time.
Bring pizza.
Bring pizza, Nardo. We love it.
Oh shit! I should have brought you some pizza
Ooh,
next time.
damn it.
I didn't ask for anything of that.
No, you didn't.
I
You
didn't.
asked for wine, too.
I'm gonna ask for wine and pizza now.
No.
I'll bring you wine and
Double
pizza.
whammy. All right, guys, we're gonna be tuning out shortly here. But thank you for joining us. If you haven't, if you join us on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification so we can get all the new content that's coming out shortly. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Thank you guys for joining us.
Peace and blessings.
Mhm.
Yes.
Pictures I can put on my story.